Hey guys, I'm SlaveToTheGames. I'm a YouTuber. I'm also a Twitch affiliate, as well as my friend and also partner here, Syntax Toxy. If you want to introduce yourself other than the name that I just mentioned, feel free to explain a little bit about yourself.
Streamer, plays Scum, played Diablo 3, 2, 1. Also streamed.
I like how you
That's
went
it.
backwards.
Yeah.
But going on from that, the purpose of this video is we're going to be discussing all that didn't happen.
Discussion?
Ignore that. Discussing everything that happened from day
Okay, it's
one of
discussion from
Scum
now on.
all the way up to now. Every single patch note that's ever even shown up, all the way up to present date. And we're going to cycle between it, and then we're just going to decide our opinions are on each of the things that have been changed or added to the game since then. Starting it off is going to be Syntax Toxy. He's going to actually start with the first patch of the game that came out, and we're going to go from there. The floor is yours.
If you say so. We will be reading the patch notes, at least I will, from the official Scum Discord server.
Same.
Yeah, and I also have it shown on my stream as well, as I believe as do you. So, it's not from some unofficial site or whatever the hell. It's all official.
Yep.
So, the very first patch we have is the patch that was released on the release day, actually, which was the 29th. So, it is the patch 0.1.16, so on. Level design bug fixes. The slits and holes in landscape are patched up now, maybe not all, but the ones you found, and many more. Have you encountered those, Slave?
Honestly, for me, I never really noticed this at all. Like, maybe I did at some point subconsciously, or like I saw it, but it didn't register to me. So if I had ever seen any of this, I never really reacted to it negatively or positively. So that's really all I have to say for this one. I mean, I'm glad it's fixed because I guess it was a problem, but I never really noticed it myself.
I must say I noticed a few of those slits, how they call them, and it would basically be as if here's one part of the floor, grass, let's say in my
Yeah.
case, here's the other part, and they wouldn't match in a straight line, but one would be down and up, and you would see the void below the game world, which was quite unnerving. But yeah,
Is that the same thing as the doors in the hangars, where there's like a hole in between them that isn't fully closed?
yeah, you would see a gap between the floor where it should be literally straight or something like that. So
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I did notice that.
it was more of a minor inconvenience, though, so not much.
Okay.
After that, we have a fixed bug with item drop not working properly when dragged to vicinity widget.
Well, going off from that one, can you kind of explain what they're saying here? I'm not sure exactly what they're going on.
So the thing is, when you would try to drop an item from your inventory by selecting it, better said, clicking on it and dragging it to the vicinity widget, it would not actually drop. It would remain in your inventory.
Oh, okay. So that did happen occasionally. I thought that was just me not holding the mouse correctly and I wasn't releasing at the right time, but apparently I guess that was a problem that the game had. So
Yeah.
since that was a problem the game had, I'm glad it's fixed. Though honestly, even though they say they fixed it, it still happens to me now. So I'm not sure if that is just because of me or if it still hasn't been fully resolved or not.
Does?
Yeah.
Haven't had a problem though. It only happens to me, for instance, when I try to do that with stuff that is inside of a container.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's always generally when I'm, like I said, I'm going through my inventory and I'm just trying to drop things. I mean, like I said, it could be the fact that I'm literally just taking it and, overshotting the inventory and I'm like out of bounds of where the inventory for the vicinity window is. And maybe I'm just missing it. But at the same time, maybe it is still a part of the game that just hasn't been fixed. But as far as I know, it's still, it's another one of those things that kind of wasn't really on my radar for things that I feel should be fixed or added or removed, etc. But I'm glad that it is fixed.
Well, personally, I only didn't really have much of those problems. I usually right click an item and press drop, so that's it for me at least. Not a big problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after that, we have a fixed client hang when entering event related to quick access. This was a potential crash. Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't actually notice that one at all.
It's probably, as far as I can see, it was event related, and we didn't actually do much events, so
Yeah,
probably
I
might
mean,
be it.
as far as I know, everybody. So I mean, because we since release, we've been in our own server, and in our own server, at least from what we've seen, not many people have been doing events. I mean, I've done probably like 10 events in total, and I've never had that problem. So again, it goes under the radar for me, but I'm glad it's fixed. I'm
Yep.
glad we have that saying. That should be a thing from now on. Under the radar. That's a new thing.
Yeah. And after that, increase stone auto destruct range and timer. What the hell?
Increase stone auto destruct range and timer. Uh,
I think it's for the rocks and pebbles. You craft your stone knives and stone spearheads and stuff like that.
It could be. Honestly, I don't want to say it's anything because like say we do say something, like we could hypothesize what it is, but like what if we're like, okay, this is exactly what it is, and then somebody's like, actually, it means this, and you guys are just dumb.
I would actually love for that to happen, for a viewer to come and educate us, because it would mean that we actually have viewers that care about the game, and I would love that.
Okay,
So,
okay.
fine with
So
me.
if we're
Uh,
dumb, don't forget to tell us it and tell us why.
yeah.
But going on with
Uh,
the increased stone auto destruct range before we move on, it does seem like it would be something to do where you loot the rocks on the ground as well. But maybe it's not that, and instead, because it says destruct, maybe it's like when you shoot the ground and it shows that damage mark, you know? And then the
I
timer
think
is like resetting it back to like peak condition, maybe?
uh,
It's just my guess. You could be right, and I could be completely
I
way
would
off
rather say
wrong.
it's about the. I would rather say it has to do with the stone item itself, the rocks, more like it, that we use for crafting. Because imagine if every single rock search in the world stayed and the game had to actually render it, it would be quite insane. Because the first thing I do is make a fucking stone knife, you know?
Fine. Okay, use logic on me to destroy my own thing.
There
Moving
you go.
on.
Okay, after that we have main weapons will now auto assign to first two quick slot quit access bar slots.
Has that
It's
actually
actually
happened for you? You know, based off
nope,
that,
I
because it
didn't have
hasn't happened to
problems.
me. No, I mean like
I had not had problems with it.
when you get a gun, does it actually auto go to the quick like 1 and 2 slot? Because for me, like say when I
Yeah,
craft a hatchet, it didn't go. Like it went directly to hands. It didn't actually go into my inventory 1 or 2.
it depends how you use it. If you are looking at an item from first person or third person, it will give you a little text pick in hands, or better said, take in hands. But if you are using the vicinity widget and you
Yeah.
just double click on the item, it's gonna go on your back if you
Oh,
have
okay.
enough space.
Okay. I get why it didn't do that for me then.
Yeah, so probably there was a problem where it would not be assigned to the number 1 and 2 quick slots. So at
Okay.
least that's why I am
I have to keep
guessing.
remembering to look here instead of down here because you're down here, but I'm trying to look here, so I'm looking at you guys. Moving
Yeah.
on.
After that, we have adjusted kill notification alignment. So nothing major, just the placement
Yeah.
of the you were killed or you killed somebody.
I'm gonna have to, before we continue, put it out here. I think most of the first patch notes are gonna be things that are probably under the radar, at least from what I've seen, because everything is kind of things that are nice to have, but really nothing that is like. And not saying we don't want the changes or we didn't want it to be fixed, because we definitely did. Just saying things that we weren't thinking of that would be immediate concerns that we were directly thinking of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were small minor annoyances at least,
Yeah.
if nothing else. Okay, so after that, fixed bug where a prisoner would die after logging in and was drunk in the previous game session. Hangover ain't nothing anymore.
Never happened to
Okay,
me.
so then again, we don't really drink too much alcohol,
We
I
never had a
believe.
chance.
Mostly
Remember, we tried
sodas.
that one time.
Yeah. So basically, what would happen when you would get drunk and you would log out and then log back in, sometimes you could simply die for no reason.
Oh.
And I guess some people who like to drink might have had more problems than we did.
Good on it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyways, disable stamina consumption recovery modifiers while action is executing. No running and punching anymore.
there was people who exploited that and were running while punching, and it wasn't really accurately tracking the stamina consumption.
Oh, never really tried that too much, so no
Yeah, I
idea.
didn't either.
Okay, after that, added new ACOG. It's not an ACOG, it's an AGOG in the game.
It is really. Or is that a joke?
So, it is.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were trying to make a joke. I was falling flat on me, so I was like,
No, unless I'm mistaken, I think the in-game scope is actually called AGOG.
oh, okay.
Or at least it was, or something. I don't know. So it's a bit
I'm a
funny that
fan
they
of them
call it
adding that,
ACOG
though.
here.
That's something I do like that they added. Instead of it just being the hunting rifle scope.
Yeah, agreed. I also can't wait for the red dot.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's gonna be
Reflex
awesome.
sight.
Yeah, that one. Okay, so updated and fixed AK-47 weapon animations. Didn't really use that weapon much. Did you?
I did. Honestly, I've used all of the weapons pretty much, minus the M1 is the one that I've used the least. And next side to the Hunter 22. Those two are the least used weapons that I use. I basically
155.
wait. It's the 50. No, it is not. It's the 22. It's not a 55, is it?
The weapon is called Hunter 55, but it uses .22 caliber.
Oh, okay.
Ammo.
That's why. That's why I got the confusion. Okay, got it. Shows how much I know about it. See, I don't really use it. So aside from those two weapons, my base weapons that I use is the SVD, the Dragunov. You know, for some people who thought the guns were different, chaotic, Rob. But anyways,
Yeah.
also I use the AKM, the AK-47, the AK-74. Those are the ones I cycle between. And I'll be honest with you, I don't is holding the gun in your hand, does that count as an animation, or is it just talking about the reload and then the shooting? Like, what separates it? Are they all different animations? Like, do you know
Yeah.
that? Okay, because for me, I'll tell you one thing. Like,
everything that moves, that has movement, that has any kind of animation, is an animation.
well, I mean, like,
Reloading
if
is
you're just
an
holding the gun
animation.
in your hand, is that
Yeah,
an animation?
yeah, because if you look carefully, your character is constantly moving a little bit. Even his hands aren't always completely still. When you're running, you can see him carrying the weapon. It's all an
Okay.
animation.
Then I'm gonna have to disagree with this because like maybe they fixed something to do with it, but every gun I've picked up, every gun, and this all of them, when I hold it, like here's my hand ready, and let's see, do I have anything for this? I do actually. Gatorade bottle, right? Here's my hand where the gun should be. It should be like this, right? But it's actually like this. So I'm holding it like this, and the gun just kind of hovers there, and it's not really in my hand. So I'm like moving it, and it's like this. And then like when I aim, it actually corrects it. But other than that, like I don't know if you noticed, but if you go into first person and you look down, it might only be a first person issue, by the way, because I play in first person only and only use third to check on my character. But when I look down at my character, the gun's not in my hand. Like the barrel is like up by my wrist all the time with every gun I'm holding. And the only exception is eventually one of them, I believe, if not all of them, got fixed, and now it's like it's in your hand, but it's like through your hand. It's not like resting in it, so it's still not perfect.
That would be a placement issue more than an animation issue.
Yeah, see, that's what I was confused with, if that was really an animation or not. So.
No, that would be placement. Basically, it's not placed correctly where it should
Okay.
be.
But yeah, the animation should be fine then.
Yeah.
Oh!
After that.
Actually, sorry for interrupting you. There is one. When using the MP5, when I'm reloading it, I don't know if you've noticed, but whenever you reload the clip, sometimes when you reload it, the other clip stays there when you're reloading, and you put the new clip in,
Really?
and then it disappears. Like, so you'll sit there and you'll be like this, and then the clip's still there, and then you put in the regular clip, and then it disappears, and you're like, okay.
Only it would stay as a AA.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so the next one would be Sentry Net Call Distance set to 500 meters. Sentries render up to 500 meters now.
That's actually one I know
awesome.
very well, and I'm a fan of, because now you could sit there and before, like, you'd see them and they'd be like blah 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 blah, and then you'd be like, oh damn. But now it's like you could be inside any building, and then they'll be like, huh, and you'll just be like, oh Jesus Christ, and you have to like move away from the window that you're in, and like you'll be like at that like behind a door in a building, looking out a window, peeking around the door, and they'll sit there, and if they have vision to you, they will see you.
Yeah,
I personally think
I
it's great.
also yeah, I also love the changes they made to the sentries, but we'll come to them
Yeah.
later a bit because there are also a few updates afterwards. So now we have enlarged danger areas around TV bases. Mechs gonna shoot sooner. Never was
I
really much at the TV bases, so
I didn't really
maybe
notice a
they're talking
difference.
about. I think they're actually talking about the tech bunkers, not the bases.
Do you? Because for me, like I went to the bunkers before, and I've gone to the bunkers recently, and they still do. Let me just like enlarge area. Yeah, they still do the shooting. You know, it doesn't really feel any different to me. You know, does that make
It
sense?
does.
It does to you?
It yeah, because let's say before when I tried to go near a bunker, I didn't even know it was a fucking bunker at that time. I
Okay.
just went close to the fence of it, and I really wasn't really spotted much or anything like that. Didn't get a warning too often or nothing. Now, when you're even like 10, 20 meters from the fence itself, they can spot you and just go, prisoner, leave this area immediately, you know?
I
So
think
I can definitely see a difference.
for me, I think the reason why I didn't is because whenever I did encounter the bunkers before this, obviously since this is the first patch, it's a very relatively small area of time that we had to play, you know.
Yeah.
And in this time, I always snuck in. I never really got caught. You know what I mean? I think that was before the whole 500-meter thing, and we had to worry about them just Jedi sensing us.
Yeah.
And before that, it was easier, so I didn't really have to worry about being spotted as quickly. Whereas now you are spotted easily.
Indeed. After that, also reduced sentry mechanic attenuation.
Yeah.
I think so. Increased attenuation of sentry warning voice. The zip zap clang clang sound is lower. The I will murder your face sound is higher. Okay, so basically, sound volumes leveled a bit to be more
Yeah.
easily heard.
At that time, I can't really speak too much on this because if I do, then I'm gonna go back to the newest patch for it. So I'm kind of gonna reserve my opinion for this till then.
Then. But yeah, I haven't also noticed this one much to be honest. So, okay. So the next one is new localization imported for Russia and Germany. Well, that's awesome. The more languages, the merrier.
Yep. There's nothing I can say
And
to that.
yeah, after that we have reworked spawn on teammate mechanic. Instead of spawning on your teammate, the game now looks for the predetermined sector spawn points and picks the one that's closest to your teammate. You won't have to run for hours, but you also won't spawn within a few seconds.
I actually do
I
have
like this.
something based on that. I do know that before that, if you noticed when we spawned on teammate, I don't know if you ever got your fame high enough in the early access. When you spawned on your teammate, you literally spawned on them, like you weren't like right in front of them, but you were like a good 20 feet away. You could just walk right up to them. And once they implemented this, it was it was a good distance away. Like you still had to jog to them, but you were still pretty damn close.
Yeah, and I like that, to be honest. Okay, so okay, that half is finished. Now we have the next half for that patch. Let me scroll down.
Going off that, okay, you're good. You already got it.
Yeah. So the next one would be examine from context menu will now switch to the crafting panel.
I have no idea. Like honestly, I don't use examine. I don't, because the few times I used it in the early access, it didn't work. Like I would click examine and it just do nothing. So I'd be like, okay, like, and I mean I don't really care too much. Like I get that. Like if you examine something, is it supposed to tell you what happens? Like basically, you know, when you hover over the shoes or clothing and it gives you a little history, etc. Is that what examine's supposed to do? Like what is it supposed to do? I'm confused. Like, there's really nothing that I've done so far that it showed.
First time I ever tried to examine, I had hoped that I would have some kind of a 360 view deal. You know, you would see the model of the item you're
Oh,
trying
okay,
to
and then like
examine, and
turn
you
it.
could rotate it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I see what you're
exactly.
talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, nothing happened, and I actually remember after this was implemented in the game because yeah, it took you to the crafting panel, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want to see the model of the item.
I just wanted
But
basic
yeah, it's
information.
yeah. But what it does, it takes you to the crafting panel, so you can actually see what you can craft with that item, or what's needed to craft the item and stuff like that, basically.
Okay, moving this real quick. Okay, moving on then.
Okay, this is the next one is the saddest
Yes, it is.
part of a patch note ever for me personally. Disabled radio station. This one is for you, is for our YouTuber folks.
I'm gonna say honestly, being a YouTuber, this sucks because I specifically remember showing you guys, at least 3 of you guys. I don't know if you were there, but the radio that was
Yeah.
playing, and I was just like, yes, this is awesome. Although I will have to point out
Yeah,
that the sound was bad for it. Like the music was good to listen to, but how they put it in the world was really bad. Like you could just turn away like this. Like say you're looking at it, you'd hear the music perfectly fine,
that's all the same.
and then you'd be like this, ready? And then all of a sudden the music would be extremely low. And if you turned around, it'd be non-existent. So like it wasn't really done that well in the world, anyways. But it was cool to kind of have the music in the world, and to get it removed is a plus because, like they said, for YouTubers, now we're not going to be copyrighted. But at the same time, it's still sad because I felt like it was a little bit cool, you know?
The thing is, I believe I was the one that pointed out the fact that the music that was used with the radios was actually the music from Gas Guzzlers,
Yep.
Extreme Carnage. And that's my problem. I love that fucking driving game, and I hate the fact that they removed the music when it was so fucking good. But yeah, it's kind of difficult for a YouTuber if he gets a
Yeah.
fucking copyright.
I
So,
never
yeah,
played the
well.
previous game, so just the fact that there was music in it was great. But maybe later in the future they could add something that's copyright free, like even if it's just random radio chatter.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so let's see.
Ooh, pausing before we continue, just a suggestion quickly. Maybe they could add kind of like later on in the future when the story stuff comes out, elements of like the TV show, like the broadcasting going on. Like you could hear like an event, like oh this person just scored high or whatever, like something like that.
That might actually be a good idea. Okay, let's see. The next one is fixed server crash that occurs when a player that isn't participating in an event kills a player that is. You know, the thing that messes up your good moments. Has it happened to you?
No, because I know that we had talked about this previously in all the previous discussions we've had about like what happens if this happens. But clearly, we now know what happened when that happened. You got kicked from the game and it crashed. So, I mean, it's fixed, so now you can kill people who are in events without being in the events. So, good luck to everybody who tries that. Don't lose your gear or your skills. That's all I have.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, give me 1 second. There we go. As I said, I haven't really done much of the. Oh, hello, Squatch, and welcome.
Welcome,
We're doing
Squatch.
the discussion. We're doing the weekly recap discussion. So
I'm just gonna drink all my water.
And then I'm gonna have to wait for you to go to get some more. Hey.
No. I'm drinking it because I keep taking sips of it. It's distracting me.
Okay, anyways, I didn't really do much of the event, so I honestly have no idea what would happen, but a good fix nonetheless. After that, applied linear fall of volume for in-game voice chat. Imagine someone sliding down a big water slide and shouting "wee," and how he goes silent until a big splash. Okay, that's actually awesome, and that's the problem you had, I believe, the
most.
It's
a huge problem I had, which may or may not be fixed completely, though going through the patch notes we'll be able to find out how it was, and I'll also have to test this with a friend later on when I play Scum again, to judge just how far the distance does, and then actually hear the effect of it to see how well it fades in and out. Because as you mentioned, Syntax, I mentioned this before, and I had a problem with the fact that when I was talking, somebody on the opposite end of the airport could hear me clearly, exactly as I'm talking to you guys right now. They would hear me on the opposite end of the airport talking in the exact same voice. There's no drop at all. and I had a horrible problem with that because it ended up in a giant gunfight, which was entertaining, but still.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't really come across too many people,
My English.
so I
Whoa!
don't really have.
Counting on that before you say that, just to cut you off, 90% of the time, did your voice chat actually work?
No. Even less. 90 fucking 8% of the time it did not work. I don't know what's happening, but for some reason, whenever I hold my caps lock or B or whatever is supposed to be my push to talk key, it doesn't work.
Wait, do you not know the
It still
push to
doesn't work.
talk key, or you do know and you didn't know which one it
I
was?
no. I knew which one it was from the start.
Oh, okay.
I tried using the default one, which was B. I tried setting it as caps lock, which is my default, usually push to talk
Okay.
key. But whatever I tried to do, it would never properly work. At a moment, after a certain patch, I was able to get it to work for maybe 5 seconds. That's it.
Okay, yeah. And even now you're
And
still having trouble.
yeah, I even went into my Steam options and set up all my microphone and input output shit properly. Even Steam itself is registering my voice. My PC is registering my voice, OBS, Twitch, everything is registering my voice except for fucking Scum. And it's a big problem because I want to play in populated servers and, you know, mess around with random people I come across. But without voice chat, it's a
It's
lot harder to
KOS.
do. Yeah, basically. Okay, so enough about that. Boar has charge attack now. Have you actually
I have.
managed to get the board? You have?
I
I
have
haven't, even though
actually
I
3
tapped it.
times. Basically, before when you saw a boar, it would just squeal and run away.
It
Now,
still happens to
however,
me.
if it doesn't squeal and run away, there's a chance it'll actually sprint straight at you. However, it's super easy. You just step out of the way, and it'll either run away again, and sometimes it charges again, but it doesn't turn when it charges. At least from what I've seen, it just goes in a straight line. It actually does
Yeah,
knock
that.
you over, by the way.
So like T-Bear as well.
I've only encountered a bear once, and I shot it 3 times in the head with an SVD, and it died. So I don't really know.
I had the luck of coming across a bear when I was freshly spawned. uh, the fucker is relentless. He will chase
Whoa!
you to the end of the.
Did you fist fight him though?
No. It wasn't stats 1111. Then
Okay.
it would be stats 111. But yeah, they actually chase you quite far away and long enough. And they also, when they get to you, they punch you, I think, or some shit. But they also knock you down, and after that, they run away.
Oh, they don't finish you off or anything?
Nope,
Oh, okay.
they run away. Okay, next Sentry changes list.
The light color?
Oh, yeah, Sentry changes light color when warning expires.
Yep. I've actually noticed that. Have you?
No.
Basically, what happens is when it's aggressive, its light color turns red,
Yeah.
and then when it's no longer aggressive, it'll switch back to being the classic white, translucent.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I have.
I'm assuming
noticed.
that's what
I
it
did
means,
notice
though,
that.
right? I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, mention it down below in the comments, guys. I believe that is what it is, though.
It might be, yeah, but I was thinking it more be something like once you between the time that the red light turns on, when it warns you and it starts firing on you. I thought there was maybe the change, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
It
you're
like
actually right on this
yeah,
one.
when it warns you, like it'll sit there. When it notices you, it'll warn you, and then as soon as it goes aggressive, it'll turn red. And then I'm assuming when it says warning expires, the warning is the red, like and then it kind of goes down after it stops looking for you. It goes down to white again. I'm assuming because it doesn't have any other color changes that I've seen so far.
Nope, only those two.
And
What
trust me,
the
I
hell is?
see the sentries all the time.
Indeed. Okay, after that we have melee combat mode is disabled if sprinting, but attack will be executed.
I don't know too much about this since most of my melee attacking is in first person. A lot of people I've seen play third person, they fight in it, and it's hard for me because like I said, I play first person. I try switching to third, and it's ridiculous. But in first person, it's basically for me. I back up for them to swing. I hit back up, and then I hope to God that they don't hit me. I don't really sprint and attack or anything like that.
Likewise, but I think the thing was, uh, your fists were probably raised up. You would be in the combat stance while
Oh,
sprinting,
okay, I get it. Yeah, and then it forces it
which
down when
isn't
you
quite.
sprint.
Yeah, now it forces it down. Okay, so added chat box area chat for 200 meters radius, also a global chat. Open the chat box with T and use tab to switch between global and local chat. This was
Um,
an awesome addition.
I definitely think it was, though I think that the radius for local area should be reduced. 200 meters is a pretty big radius for if you say like somebody's like, oh, okay, you know what, I'm gonna pause there. Instead of saying that, maybe add another one, like to tab to go to global, and then another tab to go to whisper. And whisper is like 25 meters or something. So that's like really small. So like if you want to whisper to someone who's right next to you because they don't have a mic and you don't have a mic or something like that, or whatever the reasoning is, but you don't want to tell somebody who's like in the next building over, this could be a way around that and help out people who aren't using mics, or two people are in Discord but they don't want to go into the same Discord. It's just another way around it, in my opinion. I think would either be better, either lowering it down to that, or at least 100 meters, or making a whisper
I don't. I think 100 meters is still too
one. Yeah,
much.
that's why I
I
said
get your point,
25
and
for whisper.
yeah, I get your point. I think it's an awesome idea, actually. But yeah, the only thing that would be needed to be calculated is, as you said, the radius or something like
Yeah,
that. Uh, hmm. I don't know. It really depends. They would have to take a building and have to see how long, for instance, it is, or some of the most popular positions, and check what's the distance
there's a
between those
lot
two
of things
places,
that
for
I
instance.
have to admit that they need to work on. Vicinity.
Yeah, but the vicinity widget was improved. It is a lot lower now. S- Still a bit too
It's
much at times,
still
but a
too
lot better.
much, but if it, okay, I'll be honest, if it's been lowered, I haven't noticed that much of a difference, to be honest. And I mean, like I said, like I'm in a place all the time, and I know you are too, to where if you're close together, you could stand in the center of a room, hit vicinity, and if anything isn't in a box, you could pick that crap up. Jedi forced that stuff to you. You can do it.
Yeah. But as I said, it actually is a lot lower than it used to be. Just think about early streamer access and the actual release of the game. The difference is huge. I don't
I
know if they maybe, I don't know if maybe they even reduced it silently later on or something. But I do remember the early streamer access. It was fucking 2 or 3 times larger than it is now.
I think the reason
It,
I don't notice that is because when I do the vicinity thing, I go into a building. Like I don't like try to like I never tried to see how big it was. I just walked into a building and was like, okay, vicinity, and then I realized I could pick stuff up on the next floor above and the below. So for me, I can still do that now. Like so, it hasn't changed my perspective of it because I've only used it in that sense. You know what I mean?
yeah, but
But I mean, it's good that
I
they
don't.
fixed that. I still think it needs to be drastically reduced, though.
Yeah, I agree it has to be reduced, but maybe not as drastic as you are thinking. But for instance,
Well,
I never, I quite rarely had the problem that something from an upper floor would be popping up on my
oh,
vicinity.
dude,
So
all the time. Like, it's not even like for me. Like, the reason why I say it's either needs to be drastically reduced, or they need to do it to where like, let's put you in a first floor house, okay? And you're in the living room. Make it to where if you use vicinity, you can only pick up the stuff in the living room, not above you, not outside the like outside the wall where you realistically wouldn't be able to stick your hand through it, or through the damn ceiling or through the floor. Because right now, as it stands, I can sit there, walk into a 3-story room, go to the second, hit vicinity, say something's on the table right directly below me and right directly above. I can grab both of those items and just put them in my inventory through the vicinity window. And I think they either need to do it to where they make the vicinity relative to the character size, because what it seems like is, say this is the character, right? It seems like what they did with vicinity is kind of made like an orb around it, that anything in a
Yep.
circular area of this character that you're playing can pick up in that area. And they either need to shrink it or redesign the vicinity window so where, like, if you're on the first floor, you can only use the vicinity, like the vicinity only stretches as far as like where it hits walls, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that would be quite hard to implement.
I think it would
But
definitely be harder than what it has.
but I do believe they will try to do something like that. Have the vicinity encounter any object, any
Items, objects, it's fine.
nah, obstacles.
Oh,
So,
okay.
for instance, let's say you are looking at a couch. Behind the couch is a shirt or something. Right now, how it is, you can easily pick the shirt
Yeah.
up. But let's say how I would like it to be is if there's an object between you and the item you want to pick up, you won't be able to notice it either, with your eyes
Awareness.
because. Ooh,
Yeah, because you can't see it.
yeah,
So how would you know?
yeah. They could maybe try to fiddle something with that, or at least the
Sorry for interrupting
basics
you.
of
I
how
just thought
awareness.
that would fit perfectly with the game.
Yeah. So either. So probably maybe just take the idea of how awareness works between players, and also make some kind
Oh,
of a.
1 second. Hey Reverie, thanks for stopping by. Reverie decided to stop by and see what we're doing. Sorry it took exactly 0 seconds for me to reply because you just said that, but thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy our talk. But continuing on about using the awareness to see things.
Likewise, but yeah, the basic idea of awareness is your awareness against stealth and other people's awareness against your stealth. So not in that perspective, but in the perspective of how, if, for instance, if you have a bush in front of you, you won't be able to see the person from the third person
Yeah,
perspective camera. But if you peek around the bush, you'll see them. So something like that for the vicinity widget as well.
adding on to that, and it I don't want to seem like I'm bashing the developers or anything, but now that I pointed that out and we're talking about that, I feel like that's something that should have been done. You know, like, because I mean they're basing awareness on like being able to see a player and whether third or first, and it's based on what your character can see. So if it's based with a player, why wouldn't they have done that with items as well? Like, it kind of seems like a
Uh,
go-to. You know what I mean? Or at least
because
maybe. Oh,
they're
yep. Continue.
I believe that it's not a big priority right now. They have a lot more important things to fix, add, and whatnot. B, it was intended for the pure purpose of not having third person camera
Yep.
being an advantageous one to use.
Adding on
It
to
wouldn't make a
this,
difference.
to side with them as well, they also said that they will be implementing the skills further features in the future as well. So this isn't the stage that they're at. Like, these skills that are out and released are not complete. Like, this is not going to be what they finally
Not by
look at.
far.
So they could, like we just came up with, have this already in mind and just haven't implemented it yet. So I mean, to
Well,
defend
quite.
them, it's something that they could have already have planned.
And as I was saying, B, it was meant to just not give you a big advantage over using third person perspective,
Yeah,
because it works with players, animals, NPCs, so basically with actors.
but now that
It
we've brought that up, you can't deny this would fit perfectly with the game.
it would, but I'm also trying to say, if you remember, in the video that was about awareness
Yeah.
and I believe tactics,
Yep.
the video where they show the wall hack,
Mhm.
you could also see them show that your character is able.
Go on. I'm sorry.
uh,
Go on, I said.
you were
Go.
able to also have your character detect items on the floor, and they had a green outline.
Yeah,
So maybe
okay.
it really is
Yeah,
in the
hey.
works already, but just not implemented yet. Or maybe they hit a
You know
problem
what?
of some sort.
Let's confirm this right now. Sorry, my vision's going up because of the cough. Ugh, jeez. Okay, I'm confirming this right now. It's definitely a planned feature. I definitely think that they are already on top of this right now as we speak. They're like, you know what? This will be implemented. We mentioned this earlier. It's going to be there in the future. And it's going to add to the fact that I said that everything's not complete yet. This will be here. I will say this now, and when it happens in the future, I'm going to sit here and be like,
Let's bloody well hope so.
Okay, but so
Okay.
we yeah, I was gonna say, so we don't stick on to the patch 1, let's move on to number 2. And from on this
Exactly.
one, I will take over patch 2, and then I will pretty much do what Syntax just did in the previous one, and it's gonna continue the same way that we continued beforehand. And the first one in patch 0.1.16, and since the first one was that one as well, I'm gonna go into the actual end numbers. 89264, which is the second patch, everybody. We all know this now, but just in case, is clicking on the back in server browser shouldn't lock the client for a couple of seconds anymore. I honestly, it never really happened to me. So again, under the
Likewise.
radar. Okay.
It's basically a thing that probably server hopping people had problems with. People that would stick to one or maybe two servers, they
Yeah.
probably haven't noticed it at all.
Unless you have anything to say, I feel like we can move straight on. Like I said, under the radar.
Move on.
Potential server crash fix when looting dead bodies. In short, the game would crash less with this patch implemented. Never happened to me.
Did you? Yeah, I just wanted to ask because it
Under the
never happened to
radar.
me. Quite.
From now on, every time something comes up, never happened or I never noticed, under the radar. Various code review fixes. So programming crew told me, I'm assuming the person who did the patch, to ignore this, but in short, a lot of small bug fixes. It literally just says that it's just small bug fixes, doesn't label exactly what it is. So hey.
I would actually like to see the details of that one, but oh well.
Hey,
probably
wait.
just cleaning up.
They did say various code review fixes. So it's various code review fixes.
Well,
I know. You want to see exactly what changed. I agree. It would be nice to see.
But I don't think that we would even understand what we saw because it literally is probably just cleaning up the codes, something that isn't needed or whatnot. So, yeah.
If it says change this to this, and it's like a red shirt to a blue shirt, I'd be like, okay. But if it's like 001000100 or some like crap like that, I don't know what type of code they use, honestly. I know nothing about coding. I'm sorry. I'm probably dumb sounding that. But if it's a change like that, I would have no idea what changed at all.
You were actually talking about binary code.
Yeah, I know. I just chose the first thing in my head. I don't know what C++ is or C++ or... I was taking a random thing.
I believe they use C++ for Scum itself and for Unreal Engine 4, and I actually wanted to try and learn Python, and after that go on C++, but not enough time. Move on.
Moving on to this is they added inventory slots to the jersey. So more inventory slots for everybody. Woohoo! Their exact words. That was not me making up. That's exactly how they said it. But still, yes, that's great. I love more inventory slots to carry stuff. We're gonna have more about that later as well. I personally like that. Syntax, your thumbs up. I'm gonna take that as your reply, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then moving on, they extended the world bounds so that when you go to the wall on the end of the world, it's not going to blow up before you get too close to the wall. You can actually get closer to it now. That's
really
Oh no, continue.
I made a small base with my shelter at D4 right at the fucking wall, and I actually went quite close to it, and nothing happened. But I did hear a lot of people. Yeah.
Was this before or recently?
After this patch.
Oh, okay.
But I did not dare to go literally to the wall because after I read that people's heads are popping, hell no.
Not gonna lie, I would have done it.
Good for you. I had a shit ton of stuff I didn't want to lose. Especially because I read in the official Discord server that a lot of people were actually complaining about this. That not only have they walked close to the wall itself, but the game itself apparently spawned some of them so close to the wall their head would automatically pop open just as they spawn. So
That sounds
that
like
was
it'd be
the
funny
main
to
problem.
encounter.
Yeah, but that
Uh,
was also the main problem.
okay, moving on.
Okay.
Fixing landscape bugs. Again, more holes and slits in landscape have been patched up, just like with the doors, walls. Again, under the radar for me. I never really paid too much attention to the landscape. Honestly, like sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh, you know what, this looks beautiful, and then I just instantly start sprinting towards my next destination. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Going on to that is grass in the garage bug fixed. I have no idea what this means unless it was grass sticking through the floor of a garage.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's what it is, but again, under the
It,
radar
lit
for me.
it it's literally what it was. Yeah.
Okay. You actually
And
encountered
now
that?
your favorite one. No, yeah. It wasn't anything
Oh, okay. I see why
game
you mean
breaking. It was just a bit messy to see.
that. I get what you mean.
That's it.
Now, my favorite one: fixed pink military boots. Now you can store a knife in there. Is it just a knife? Is that it? Is there more? We're gonna find this
Uh,
out later in the patch list.
yeah, the problem is usually I believe they actually do this in real life. I'm not completely certain because I was never in the military myself.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do believe that it's a habit for at least more risky places to have a knife.
Well, I mean, not precisely like in real life. I mean, in the game, because I don't know if this is going to be in later in the patches. If it is, but other than that, you can put other things than just a knife in the shoes, like in
No,
the
no, no, no,
military
no, no,
boots.
no, no. You can, but what I'm trying to say, I believe also in real life, that some military
Oh yeah, yeah.
boots have compartments for storing a knife,
Believe it or
and that's
not,
why it's
continue.
yeah.
No, you.
So that's why it's also added to several survival games like this, where you have military and combat boots. Now the problem here was you could not store anything in
Oh,
the
okay.
pink military boots, and they've basically fixed that, so you can now store anything. They say knife just because I myself personally always have a knife there because it's two spaces. A knife is two spaces. That's it.
Okay. I mean, I don't really take things like realistically in a manner of where I'm storing stuff. I store stuff wherever it fits. That's it. If it could fit here, if it could fit there, it's going wherever I feel like it at the time, wherever it's got the room. I'm glad that they added it, definitely, because it's something I definitely do use in the game. I definitely use every single storage space I can find in it. Moving on to the next one, though, they edited the order of the craft list items. This is something that, for me, went under the radar because I will say right now, there's so little to do with crafting in the game. Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, you can craft a storage box. Yes, you can craft a basic shelter, bullets, an axe, improvised spear, etc. They have basic stuff. But I only craft that stuff when I basically need that spear or I want to put that shelter. And then after I build that shelter in those boxes, I never touch anything again. Like crafting is nothing right now that makes me want to craft. Like nothing in it drags my attention to. I don't collect things to craft. I don't try to craft. I craft if like I said, I just need that shelter placed and then I never touch it again. I need those boxes placed and I never touch it again. There's nothing that drags me to play it. There's no incentive. So as of right now, anything to crafting, unless it's adding more things you can craft that may possibly interest me, isn't really gonna bring my attention too much to it.
Likewise, but I do remember this happening. The initial list
Yeah.
was kind of messed up. It wasn't in any kind of order. What they did is they put a little bit of order in there. So, for instance, you have a improvised wooden spear, you have a improvised stone spear, you have a improvised metal spear.
Okay.
Before before there was no order to it. Now you have it one after another. You know, here are your three spears. Here are your I don't know, 5 axes that you can craft, and so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
they added a tier system to it to make it a little bit more easier, so you don't have to be like, okay, here's the wooden one. Now where the hell is the next addition to it?
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Okay, definitely a plus again, but like I said, it's another under the radar thing for me. Max events players set to 16 instead of 32 because it was 32 beforehand. For everybody who didn't know that, I thought it maybe was just one, but it actually was for all the events. Basically, they're all the same thing right now. Let's be honest. When there are too many players, it wasn't really that fun. Apparently, I'll be honest with you. Adding to just that myself, there never was too many players. There was barely enough players, let's be honest. And then before continuing on to that, prone to change from community feedback is what they're saying. So this is obviously can go up, down, whichever way they want, based on how we react to that. Right now, I'll be honest with you guys, based on what I've seen, it's not going up. Not anytime soon. Not until people start going to the events, and I don't think that's going to happen until they start adding an incentive to play the events, because right now, you spend 10 fame, you leave with 10 fame, or occasionally something ridiculous because something's wrong with the game, and you get a little bit extra and you're not supposed to.
Oh, I think that this should actually be a server option.
I do too.
Because then you could tailor your server a bit more. If you want to have a event-only server, let's say you bump it up to 64 and hope the server survives. You know, and if you want, yeah. So I think it should be a admin choice. Basically.
To add to that, I definitely think it's going to be something in the future. Like I mentioned before, off screen, we never talked about this in discussion before. With our server that we currently own, I think later on, as they optimize the game is the word I'm looking for, we will be able to start making more significant changes to the game. Like maybe eventually we'll start be able to mess with spawn points, etc. Because I know right now we have admin commands, but honestly, I don't really care about admin commands other than being able to ban the people who are toxic. And other than that, I don't really care about anything else added for admin commands. What I really care about for servers and stuff like this is, like you said, the server settings. What we can do to change our world and make it better in our eyes, in our community's eyes who play in our server. You're not going to say anything to that? You just, okay.
I said mine.
Okay, you just kind of looked at me. I was waiting. I'm like, okay, nope, okay.
I'll raise my hand per usual if I have something to say.
Work in progress server browser sorting. It's not done yet. As of this patch, it might be done after it. As we go on through the patches, things will change from what we previously said, etc. But you will be able to sort the server list by ping, name, etc. So that's something that I know anyone jumping from server to server, unlike me and Syntax, I'm assuming, because we generally stick to our server, it's going to matter to you guys, because now you will find it different servers faster and with more of a efficiency. There we go.
Yeah, and even though I'm breaking the rules a bit, it's fully working right now, as far as I know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. We've already strayed a little, so as long as we don't talk about a patch that's later, we'll be fine, because we'll get there. But let's see. Adding talking icon for voice chat so that you know when people can hear you. This is something that I have noticed, and Syntax, rest in peace, your mic. But for me, who's had no problem at all with this, and it works perfectly, basically what it does is it shows you a little symbol, again, Gatorade bottle, guys, right here on your screen, around there. So then when it talks, you'll be like, hey, how you doing? Yes, I'm having fun. I really hope it's not on the other side of the thing, but God, is it really?
Your camera reverses it.
Wait, my camera reversed it?
For me on Discord, yeah.
Opposite side, guys. If it's reversed, it's not supposed to be reversed. It's supposed to be on the correct side.
It's supposed to be here, I believe. This
here?
side. When you, where my finger is.
Wait. Left side for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This is my left.
Yeah, we are reversed.
Okay.
As I said.
Okay, yeah. So it's on the left side, guys. Here for you guys. Here for me. But moving on, so that I can stop looking like a fool. They removed the bundle of rag strips. Sorry, there was not a spelling error there, and I read it from that. Strips from spawning, the thing that you should craft, not spawn. So basically, instead of being able to find them randomly, just in like their own little bundle, you have to actually turn them into a bundle by cutting rags down into the strips and then crafting them into your own separate bundle.
I just love the wording they used. The things that you craft should not spawn. So basically, I can craft ammo. Ammo shouldn't spawn. If you know what I mean.
Whoa. What if they actually take the ammo out? Come on. What if they take your word and they do that?
That would be awesome.
No, it would not be awesome.
It would, because there wouldn't be as much kill on sight, for fuck's sake.
There's even without it, this kill on sight. You saw Kakodane. Side note, guys, chase that guy down with a shovel, a stone knife, and an improvised spear.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about
Yesterday
today?
today when he chased the guy down and you hit the guy like 30 times and he didn't die in the other server.
That was me and him.
Yeah,
I actually managed to throw a spear at the guy. It's got stuck
exactly.
in his fucking spot. That was hilarious.
KOS, and you didn't have guns.
He did,
The guy did, but you guys didn't, and he had no ammo.
but he was threatening us by aiming at us. So
Okay, well, moving on from that. More frequent player save on server. This, I'm pretty sure, is when you're playing the game, your character will periodically save in order to identify the items in your inventory that you have. So say you crash your game, you leave the game, your character saves that data in that server so that whatever you have on you will be there when you come back into the game. It pretty much works like a single player game when you save your game and then you load back into it. That's how it works essentially. Now, what they did with this is before. Sorry for interrupting. No, what they did with this is before it took a longer time for it to save, and now they shortened that time it took.
yeah, but apart from items, it also works for your skills, your metabolism, everything concerned about your character.
Yep.
Just wanted to add that.
No, it's fine. I missed that. I sometimes forget that stuff sometimes isn't just self-explanatory, and I should, just in case some people don't understand, explain a little bit more further. So it's great that you covered that for me. Aggressive animals are now more aggressive, so pretty much if they're pissed, now they're really pissed. They're going to remain alert instead of fleeing when provoked. So don't mess with the bears. They don't really need to say that, though, apparently, is what they're saying. But again, like you said before, they still run away every now and then.
What, the bear?
The bear. After it attacked you, knocked you down, you said it ran away.
Oh, yeah. It runs away after it attacks you. But unless it gets at least one hit on you, it's gonna chase you to the end of the fucking map.
Is it fast? Side question.
Quite fast. I wasn't able to lose it, and I was sprinting away from it. Over the hills and everything.
Through the woods?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Corn has better nutrition values now. I never noticed a difference because I'll be honest with you, at the time of this patch, I barely found corn at all. I would go and I would sit there and I'd look through every damn stalk. I'm pretty sure that's what you call them, right? Stalks of corn?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd look through them all and I wouldn't find anything. But now I find it every single time pretty much. So that's good. What about you? Same thing?
I think I actually only once tried to find corn, so I have no clue.
Well, you know, when you're living at the airport, you gotta live off something. Which obviously is not a problem now, but we'll get further into that at the end. Yeah. Sugar digestions are lowered to 20 minutes. That's self-explanatory, I assume. There's not really anything I have to say about that. I don't really take a lot of sugar in the game. That's probably one of my least... What is that? Is it
Move on, self-explanatory.
Oh, okay. It's like I said though, it's one of the least things that I actually looked into food-wise. Animal fat nutrition is apparently fixed. I never ate animal fat, so under the radar.
I did try to eat it a few times, but I haven't really followed what's happening after that, so
Oh, okay. The MP5 icon and description update.
What the fuck?
What? What happened?
Whoopsie.
What did you do?
I changed the... Never mind, move on.
Okay, anyways, moving on from that. That's self-explanatory, guys, but like I said, another under-the-radar thing that I just didn't really pay attention to. Prisoner head is now 2x2 inventory size. You can throw a dead person's head on another guy, because you can. Their words, not mine, but you can now fit it easier into your inventory, whichever slot you put it in. Never tried it, probably won't, but again, under the radar, self-explanatory. Moving on.
I don't think it's really realistic, because I recently found one of the cooking pots, and you take a look at the cooking pot when you place it on the ground, and when you compare it to a head of a prisoner, the cooking pot is only slightly bigger in the world itself, but in the inventory, it takes up
a huge
How
amount
much?
of space.
Yeah,
Honestly, I
like
think maybe it's an 8x8, maybe
4x4. No,
no,
not
it's six
that
by
much.
six. It's 6x6. It's got to be like a 5x5.
Yeah,
Like it takes
you know,
up a
so
big amount of space
yeah,
though. Like it's
it.
not a
I think
four
it
by
takes.
four. It's bigger than that.
I I think it takes up your whole improvised career back, and I just don't remember how big it is. So I
Um,
think the head should be a bit bigger.
yeah, I definitely think the head should be bigger because of the cooking pot, or they should make the cooking pot smaller. But honestly, I don't think it should be the cooking pot smaller because that one feels a little bit more realistic, and the head should be bigger. I think they should bring that back up because as much fun as it might be to certain people, throwing heads at people and stuff like that, other than throwing heads at people and I don't know, can you chop it up and eat it? Other than that, there's really no point in carrying a head around right now, at least.
Uh, but I would rather actually have the cooking pots smaller because it can be explained in a certain way.
Okay,
It's a cooking pot.
explain.
It's a cooking pot. It has a huge fucking hole in it. You can put
Okay, you
stuff
throw
in.
everything in
You
it.
know?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine, you beat me. Get out of here. Okay, okay, but first,
There we go.
can't you just add storage to the cooking pot then?
Or that as well. But that would make the whole crafting system needed to. It would require a rework of the crafting system because, for instance, in DayZ, I believe you can actually add stuff to the cooking pot and whatnot, or some stuff like that, and that's how
Well,
you actually. Yeah.
for me, I was actually gonna wait, but thanks for. For me, I think you wouldn't need to. Honestly, it's just if you put stuff into it to use as storage, you shouldn't be able to use it to cook while stuff is in it. So if you want to cook, you have to remove those items. It would be a simple fix doing that instead of going through a whole workaround. They could just do that instead. Because you can't cook if you, I mean, okay, technically you can cook if you have anything in it, okay? But realistically, if they want to just be like, okay, you know what, realistically, we want you to be able to store stuff in it as well. All they do you need to do is kind of like when you put it inside your bag, double click on the cooking pot, it opens a storage space. It shows the space that would fit in the cooking pot. Put stuff in there. Obviously, this is relative to what the backpack itself can carry as well that you have it in. And then when you want to cook, it does not allow you to cook until you remove those items and put them somewhere else, and that whole entire cooking pot is now empty. It also makes it a little bit more simulated reality when if you have that, you have to take those contents out, either drop it on the floor temporarily, cook, eat the meal, then restore the stuff, etc. I think that would be a better way about going about it, in my opinion.
Well, maybe.
But
Shall we continue, rather?
that's what I was
Or?
gonna say. I'm glad we're both on the same page. Added items
Yeah.
to the prison wallet on a prisoner. People who got the supporter edition are in for a treat. I never noticed that there was a supporter edition. I mean, I got the game, definitely got the early access, so I got the key for it just like you did, obviously. And then I even got the developer bundle. So I mean,
I had to buy it.
yeah, is that something that goes with it, or is that because somebody like
The developer bundle, the
Donate?
supporter pack.
yeah?
Supporter pack, rather, is this supporter edition. But what items to what fucking prison wallet?
Yeah,
Prisoner.
well, maybe the prison wallet is the thing that you, sorry to say, poop out to get that extra gift. Because when you get it, you have to poop out the first time, I'm assuming, and it drops something on the ground. Like, surprise. I'm assuming maybe that's the wallet? Yeah?
Yeah, might be it.
Moving on.
Actually, definitely it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. They fixed the torso rotating when swapping weapons. Under the radar, never noticed this.
Wait, what?
They fixed torso rotating when swapping weapons.
You missed one.
Oh, I did, but we'll go on to this one first and then go back to that.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed that one either, to be honest. So.
Okay, so moving on to the B4 TV base, they fixed the stuck sentry bug, so now you'll need to take care because now it's not going to be stuck anymore, guys. So anyone who previously saw that it would be stuck there, it's not going to be. Self-explanatory. Moving on. Disabled melee combat entering while in prone and switching items in hands. So now when you lay down, you can't enter melee combat and you can't switch your items in your hand while you're doing that. You have to stand up or crouch. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, moving on, you can take control of the third patch note.
Indeed. So, the Rodiac I believe, has posted the third patch note, which is the 0.1.16.83201. Let's go. So this is firstly a note from, I'm guessing, the developers. And as promised, here are the patch notes. If your bug problem is not listed as fixed below, remember some of them need more testing and will be fixed in one of the upcoming patches. We have seen all of your problems and have to ask for a bit more patience from your side until we can respond to everything. In the meantime, and here we go, what happened? Server optimizations. Oh god, yeah, we need even more of those,
Yes, we need
please.
more.
But yeah, you remember how we got all of those rubber band effects and shit?
You remember when we kept losing connection to the game 10 times in one day?
Wait, you cut off a bit.
You remember when we kept losing connection to the game and got kicked about 10 times in one day? Not even an exaggeration, guys.
Even
we
more.
literally did. Yeah.
Even more. And I love the fact that we all know it's coming because there's obviously a delay. Because we tried to open a door and the door wouldn't budge.
Or we'd sit there and we'd try to do something with looting something. We couldn't.
Or the funniest was when the sentry or the puppies would just keep running inside of a fucking wall or some shit.
Or they just stand there, take the hits. Like, we'd all know.
Yeah.
Like, one of us would sit there every single time. We'd sit there like, oh, server's crashing, and we all know. We wouldn't even have to second guess. We wouldn't even try. We'd just sit there like, okay, guys, sorry, the game's crashing again. We'll join again soon.
Yep. And yeah, let's hope we get even more as soon as possible as well.
The fixes, not the crashes.
Well...
no.
Okay, yeah, the fixes, thank you. Improve server browser sorting. No idea.
Still, again, that basically just means like when you're going through and you're trying to find a server, it just makes it a little bit easier. Again, you and I pretty much stick to our own server, so it's something we wouldn't really know.
Indeed. Fixed server list overflow glitch. Added a rubber icon for servers that haven't been pinged yet. Okay, so yeah.
That pretty much explains. Oh, if you know what that means, by all means, explain it.
So, for instance, when you're trying to refresh the list of the servers and there is a server that is for some reason unresponsive, or it requires a long amount of time for it to become responsive enough to send the data of how high your ping would be on that server, or how many players are in the server, or info like that you see on the browser page.
Yeah.
Instead of actually listing it somewhere randomly, you now get I think it's 3 little dots that pulsate in a loading manner. You know how you have loading screens?
Okay, yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. It goes like that so that you know that information about that server has not yet been received.
Oh, okay.
Okay, when server is full or server password is incorrect, client should display meaningful error message now. I believe that's also self-explanatory.
Yeah, there's really nothing we have to go on over that.
Yeah. After that, we have disabled spectator mode in shipping builds, F10.
I have no idea what that even means.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't either?
Is there? No.
Okay. If you for this one, if you guys know what this means, don't forget to comment below on the YouTube channel you'll be inevitably seeing this video on, and explain what it means to me. And I might find out just by searching it up myself, but most likely I'm not going to. So don't forget to tell me what it is below, so I can at least understand what it is for future videos if something like this pops up again.
But still, it's kind of... What is a shipping build?
I have no idea. I can't, like, spectator mode is obviously self-explanatory, but shipping builds is the thing that throws me off. F10 is probably what put you into the spectator mode of whatever it is. Maybe
F10 function key.
Disable maybe, okay, I'm just gonna go off on a probable tangent for this, and shipping build, maybe it's like, because maybe the shipping build is the game that was sent to you, I don't know, like, you know, because they ship the build to you. Like, sometimes a build is referred to as a stage of a game. So this is probably not what it is at all, guys. So if it is, being stupid, but I do know that for an explanation is Phoenix Point, one of the games I'm very interested in. It has builds, and what it is it's called an alpha build, a beta build, and it's basically just this one scenario in the game that they release, and they call that an alpha build. So maybe that has something to do with it, but it probably doesn't. It's just me trying to come up with a theory of what it could be. Again, leave it below, and I'll read
you're
it.
You're basically talking about alpha, beta stages of game development.
Yeah, so that's the closest I could come to even trying to understand what it is.
Yeah, but my main problem is shipping builds would mean a physical copy for me. And as far as I know, there are no physical copies of the game, only digital ones on early access. So I don't know. Let's just not waste time on something that neither of us knows about. Bird ambient sounds improved in realism and placed in space around player. Have you noticed it?
This is going to be under the radar because honestly, have you heard any bird sounds? Like, I might have heard a bird sound, but I just don't register. Like, I'm like,
yeah. Exactly the same here.
Look at this face, dude.
Okay.
Pausing this for a second, though. Look at this face. It's the ugly face, dude. Do you see what happens to my neck and chin? Okay, sorry. Horrible face. Continuing on.
Oh god. How the fuck do you even do that?
I just like. I don't know. Like,
I have a feeling. I have a feeling I'm gonna broke my fucking neck by doing it.
Because like you can see how much space is here in the neck. Then it's like, how do I do that? Anyways, moving on, guys. Weird talent.
Look like a worm.
It's a weird talent. Okay.
Okay, fix the issue when metal footstep sound was played if player equip metal scrap. So, yeah, basically under the radar, but what I do believe it means is whenever you would, I don't know how the fuck you even equip metal scrap.
Maybe you just put it in your hand.
Maybe. So probably when you put it in your hand, your player would make footsteps sounding like as if you were walking on a metal.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's putting it in your hand or putting it in your inventory somewhere, and then it made like a sound or something. I don't know, or walking on like a metal pike or something.
Yeah, I think it basically was the wrong sound played. And somehow it was connected to the metal scrap.
I made myself insecure.
Continuing on. After that, we have fixing landscape bugs. I think it goes something else. Dear God.
Continue. Don't pay attention to me.
I think this would be something of the sort. Oh my God, this is weird. I actually literally watched you here on my left screen doing that, and now it's replaying again with a delay on my palette, on my screen.
Continuing on.
I think this goes together with the slits we were talking about already, but also with probably different kind of bed placements and stuff like that.
It's the under the radar sound, okay?
Yeah, after that we have a good one. Enabled commit suicide from the escape menu.
Have you tried that yet? Because I haven't.
I have.
Oh wait, no,
what happens?
I lied. I shoved a shovel into my stomach. I lied, never mind.
Not that. That's not that.
No, I killed myself with a shovel.
We are talking about the commit suicide button at the escape
I know. I'm kidding with you.
Menu. I think I told you about this already, to be careful if you try to use it in order to get rid of a sickness. So what you could potentially do is, let's say you find a quiet little place, you build a shelter there, and you have a problem. You have hypothermia, which is at certain times glitched or bugged or maybe something like that.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You cannot get... you can simply not get rid of it by trying to heat yourself up. So what you actually could do is commit a suicide and just come back without hypothermia and pick all of your shit up. But you have to keep in mind that when you commit suicide this way, what happens is your BCU actually explodes and your head pops off. So any headgear you had, like glasses, helmets, hats, the balaclavas, respirator, or whatever the hell, gets destroyed in the process.
Oh, nice. Also, your
Yeah,
head does. Anyways.
indeed. Uh,
By the way,
After
we
that,
didn't
we
go over
had.
that beforehand. But
Who
as
are
I
you
was
saying
saying,
that to?
you. Who else would I be talking to? There's nobody here.
I told you about this like a few days ago.
No, you didn't tell me about that. And if you
I
did, I
did.
totally forgot about
Exactly.
it.
I even remember I was at a port town when I was telling you about this
Oh, I
in
might have been
game.
on autopilot. My bad. It happens
Exactly.
sometimes.
Okay, editing player start locations. They are not too close to the wall anymore, so
Wait, what?
your head gets insta blown up.
Oh, okay, so that's different than before. They increased the boundaries, and now the spawns are moved up. Okay.
Yeah, this is what I mentioned earlier
Yeah.
that people would spawn there and pop goes the weasel. Okay, after that, since we already kind of covered it, we have fixed problem with crafting. You can now craft metal spear. I didn't even
This
try
one,
to craft
actually, I
one,
do know
so
about this. Only because
oh
of Chaotic Rob. He was playing and he tried crafting it, and he had all the material, and it wouldn't let him actually craft it, even though he had the material. Basically, a way around this is common problem that happened with me is I'd have all the material I needed, but it wouldn't actually let me use the regular rope. I'd have to craft improvised rope to use the improvised rope to craft it. I couldn't use the rope
okay.
that I found. Yeah, but they ended up fixing that. Though I'm not sure to what extent. Maybe all of it has been fixed, or maybe not. Again, with the balloons, I'm telling you, if you don't have a balloon, every time we do this, there's going to be trouble. You started this,
There you
and now
go.
you need one. God, I hope those balloons
I
aren't
have.
expensive.
Actually, they fucking are. It's like it's 10 USD for 10 balloons for fuck's sake.
Oh my God, stop blowing the balloons, dude. You're going to go poor at this rate. God, we're going to need to
Oh
open up
yeah.
a donation channel just for balloons. And no,
There we go.
no, no. We need a donation channel to support your addiction for balloons. Sounds better.
Ah, there we go.
Moving on to the next
Yes,
one.
indeed. Okay. Did you even finish the first one?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I explained it.
Okay.
Nice job with
Uh,
the attention.
As per usual. Okay, so egg can't be eaten infinite amount of times anymore. I believe Chaotic was also the one that
He was actually
came
carrying
across
it
this one.
around. He
Yeah.
actually exploited it. He had that thing, and he was like, "Yeah, you can eat it a million times." And I was like, "What?" And they showed it to me. I was like, "Oh, you can." And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You can have it back. I don't want it." For me personally, whenever an exploit happened, other than, and I will say now, other than the one when it like you left in, you found ammo, then you left, then you came back in for max ammo, I used that. I will say that now. I used that while I was there, but the second they were like, "Anti cheats up, this is cheating now," I was like, "Nope, not touching that anymore." But I didn't even know about it until a day before the anti-cheat thing came up, so I didn't really have time to really exploit it too much.
I maybe done it for like 5, 6 stacks of ammo. But the rest of the times I did it pretty much accidentally. I didn't even know the fucking bug was there.
And I never
But
actually
yeah,
found the egg myself or used the egg to exploit. The only exploit that you could ever say I used was the bullet one for that one day. The egg I never came across other than that one moment. I quickly needed to eat. I ate, dropped it, gave it back to him, and continued on. And I have checked. The eggs are no longer like this. They do deteriorate.
indeed. Okay, after that we have tweak nutrition gains from crafting cooking proportionally to ingredient weight.
Self-explanatory.
What do you?
Under the radar thing, didn't notice because I don't cook that much, but it's definitely something that's welcome.
Indeed. So after that we have fixed an issue where Oculus was selected as the primary audio output.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh. Oculus Rift,
Oh,
the 3D goggle thing.
wait, that's something that's already able to be used with this?
I
Because
think
I
you can
already
use
know there's no VR right now on it. So is
no
that
VR,
is it to like
but
watch it and then play it normally? Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, that's actually something I would love to own, but I would have to sell my soul to get it.
I
So
have a PSVR that I'm borrowing from a friend. It's not really the best, like it's not better graphic, but it's still when you. Wait! I got this. If only I could do a cut where my hand came into your screen. But anyways.
Wait. Do it now.
Wait! I got this. Wait! Hide your hand. Go. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I think we should continue by now.
Okay. Yes, we should move on.
And the last thing is, and more to come. And again, if you don't see any update, restart your Steam.
Thanks for the notification. I'll do that right now. So moving on to the next one, and since apparently I almost called you a scum, but Syntax the whole entire time has been, don't even act like you're offended, you like the title. Okay. Since Syntax has been actually saying who these people are that are actually putting these patch notes out and saying what they are, I guess I will too, so I don't sound like an absolute D word. Anyways, Phil, or Thee, because my computer's acting up, put out the next patch notes, which are 0.1.17.8363. This is the one where they added the anti-cheat and the admin options and much more, which we will go over. Now, overall, for the anti-cheat, since that's something that is up and running, and they're going to continue to upgrade it and keep Scum as cheat-free as possible, my opinion based on that, so I can just put it out there real quick, is I didn't really notice too many people cheating at all. Like, at least on our server. Like I said, I only play on our server. Haven't really gone on to another one. I didn't see cheating, but like I said, now anything that's an exploit will be counted as cheating. Dude, that's like $2 you just blew up.
My balls. Great balls on fire.
As I said, any exploit is counted as cheating now. And even if you're not caught right now, guys, and I'm looking at you, whoever you are that is exploiting or cheating, if you are caught, it may not be now, but you will be caught. And you're going to be banned.
But I think that is a bad approach. At least depending on the exploit being used. For instance, the ammo glitch, I don't think it should be bannable. It's simply an exploit. What is an exploit, even, by definition?
I think, going off from that, I think depending on the exploit, like you said, it depends. Like I said, it really depends on that. But if it's something that they fixed and it's somehow you're still doing it, like say they do fix it and you can't do that, but somehow you're still doing it, bannable. But say it's something like, hey, don't do this. Like if they mention don't do this or you will be banned, that's your fault for doing it. They warned you. But if they don't warn you and it's something that like you don't know and it's an exploit and it hasn't been brought up, etc., and you're explaining like before when the bullet exploit was going, but nobody was told you shouldn't be able to do that, you're not doing that or don't do that, completely safe. But the second they were like, don't do that, that's cheating and you will be banned for it as cheating, you should stop from that on. Because whether or not it's something that's small, that barely affects the game, if they themselves are calling it cheating, they're the developers of the game. This is cheating to them. It's not cheating to other players.
But it's their fucking job to fix it, not warn people not to do it. And that's my problem.
No. Like,
and that's why I don't think it should be bannable, unless it's something that affects the whole server, for instance, or a big part of the server.
Let's use this for example. Say somebody doesn't go to the bunkers, and somebody wants to stay in the airport area. This is just going off on a small tangent real quick. I'll try to cover it real fast so we don't stay too long on this, because we still got more. But basically, I stay at the airport all the time. Thanks for revealing myself to the rest of the people who play on our server. But anyways, I'm always there, guys, and I will hunt you down. But anyways, I'm always there. If I sit there and I go to each of the hangars and just keep finding ammo and then I leave, come back, get more, I fill it up fast. I can get hundreds of bullets. Hundreds. And that's not even a joke. I'm not exaggerating. I can really get hundreds. And if I'm sitting there on the top of the tower with those 100 of bullets, with my SVD or my AKM, with the scopes that you know I have, you're done. Or you take it, you kill me, then there's more ammo. And it spreads, and this keeps happening. And then say you have a shelter with 5 boxes. I had this before the wipe. You just keep on storing. And it's just, some people may not work, but for me, it take the fun out of it because I can just keep stockpiling, never have to worry about finding ammo. But also, this is something that, like I said, it's an exploit and it shouldn't happen. It takes the fun out of the game for certain people, and they're trying to please a crowd of people, not an individual. So even if there's one person who wants all this ammo and doesn't have a problem with it, everybody else might have a problem with it. But going on what you said, based off that, I definitely think that because it is a problem they can fix, it maybe shouldn't lead to a ban. But at the same time, if they tell you about it and you know you're not supposed to do it, you have knowledge that you shouldn't be doing that. If you do it, you're taking the risk of being banned. So yes, maybe you should be banned, and it is a problem that they do need to fix, and they should fix it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if you break a law, but you know the law, I mean, it seems explanatory. Like, you know you shouldn't do this. If you do it, you know you can be punished. You know what I mean? But I mean, at the same time, what if somebody doesn't know, like you said, defending your side, and they do it and then they get banned, and they didn't know about it, and now it's unfair because they didn't know. But at the same time, like, this can be countered a billion ways, I guess. So to end it, it could be countered both ways. No matter how many times you and I go back on it, we can probably break down each other's comment and keep going. So moving on. Jeez. Whew. Server admin controls are now added. So for all of you guys who own your own server, us included, you now have your own admin controls that you'll be able to use. Do you want to add anything to that? I guess I'll add some of the admin controls are spawning puppets, banning people, a whitelist, and so on. It's basic admin commands for a game. Very basic.
Well, for now you can basically choose how many players there can be in the world at a single time, how many puppets there can be, how many animals there can be.
Admin controls. So not the settings that you choose. I believe it's talking. I think it's talking about the admin ones where like you type where you could spawn to a player, etc.
Yeah,
like those admin controls.
Basically console commands for anybody that knows them. You can also spawn in any animal as well, or enemy in the game.
Or
any
weapon.
Item.
There we go.
Yeah, any item like ammo, weapons, food items, drink items, basically any of those stuff. We also have a list of items that are supposedly spawnable. But as we actually went through them, we noticed that there are a lot of items that aren't yet implemented in the game. But we actually have knowledge of them prematurely because of those console commands. And I think it's a little fuck up on their end, at least.
I think even with that, it hasn't come across everything for what you can spawn. Because based on the items that they've included, I don't know if you've noticed, but they've been adding a lot of items. Like, from day one to now, there's significantly more food items. There's significantly more drinkable items, etc. It goes on. Like, there's cigarettes now where there wasn't before. It goes on.
Rubber bands.
The
rubber bands, barbed wire, palinkovats.
That new drink that they ended up adding. I forget what it is. Like, there's different variations of soda now, guys. Instead of just one, it's now multiple different variations as well. Now, moving.
There's a Sprite one. There's a cola one.
A lime one.
As far as
an orange one. Yep.
Ooh, haven't noticed really.
Moving on from that, Sentries got. I assume that's what you meant, right? Sentries got nerfed a bit, and I'm gonna say this because for this patch itself, not for future because it might change, but for now, they did not get nerfed, okay? The only thing that was nerfed was their chance to miss. So now they miss a little bit more in this patch here. Now, after that, they also made it to where there's longer reload times. So yes, that's a nerf to a degree, but in my opinion, it isn't. There's a bigger shooting cone, so they can have more of an area where they're going to shoot. So to me, this doesn't really mean it's completely nerfed. Yes, they miss you a little bit more, but I'm telling you right now, even on our server, we haven't changed the damage up or down. You get hit by that sentry, you're done, pretty much. Like, you can get grazed and make it out, which I do 9 out of the 10 times. Syntax not so lucky. He gets hit, he dies.
Well, yeah, because I usually do it when I'm not decked out fully, so.
I just have the luck of the gods. Moving on from that, the sentries are still strong as hell, guys. Don't take them for granted. What the hell was that?
You got cut off.
Oh, okay. Cut off. The sentries are still strong as hell, guys. Don't take them for granted. Be careful. Moving on, the fixed ammo exploit bug when using ammo directly from searched objects. Now, this one, not the one that we were talking about earlier, is pretty much you loot an item, you see ammo. You have a clip for that ammo. You take the ammo, you put it in the clip, you leave, you come back. It's now full again with ammo, and you keep repeating. It never ends, and you have an unlimited amount of ammo as long as you keep putting it in clips. It's fixed now. You can't do it anymore. However, very effective way, and this one's, if not more considered cheating / exploiting than the previous one that we mentioned. Okay, I pause every now and then to give you some room to say something, but I realize that maybe I should. Equipped items are now destroyed when prisoner is destroyed. So I don't really know what that means other than the head exploding. Now everything on the head explodes. Can the rest of your body get destroyed? But actually, cutting myself off because I'm dumb. I actually got that. If you cut somebody up with their gear on and they turn into meat, the gear disappears.
Can you even do that?
Yes, you can do that. I've done it.
With the menu?
No, like when, like, say I killed you, right? And then I chopped you up for food. All the gear on you would disappear into another realm.
Yeah, but how do you chop me up? Do you have a knife equipped?
Yeah,
and then,
you'll need a knife
hold
or a
the
hatchet.
But then you hold the F button to the interaction menu?
You could just press
Can you?
tab and then
Because
right click and then chop. Or hold F.
That's well, yeah, that's the interaction. That's what I've been thinking.
Yeah.
Because by default, when you take a look at the player, it gives you the default option of search.
Yeah. So it's hold
Okay,
F, but I
makes
generally use
sense.
tab. But yeah. So if you do that, guys, remember it will destroy all their gears. So search them first, then chop them up if you're going to. Although right now, I'll tell you, as a side note, there's really no point eating puppet meat, human meat at all, because you find food pretty easily in this game.
Still, why not?
Yeah. I mean, you can if you want. Destroyed. Adding natural attenuation or attenuation.
You're suddenly looking quite tasty, Slave.
No, stop. None of this. Not when they're watching. No, I'm kidding. Adding natural attenuation for voice chat. Reduced radius for bullet flyby sounds. So now when bullets fly by, it's going to be a little bit softer than beforehand. It's not going to be right in your face. It's going to actually sound like it's like... Self-explanatory, right?
Since I didn't have really much of a voice chat, yeah.
No, you never did. They fixed a bug that sometimes made the mouse cursor disappear on the spawn screen. Now,
it still happens.
It still happens, and not only that, when you're like doing something, so you drink from a fountain or something like that, it sometimes makes it to where it disappears there, and you have to hit tab out, or then exit, or your Windows key button to pop up the Discord before it shows up again.
But the main problem with this one that's happening right now is it's different in how it happens.
Okay.
So what can happen, and what happens to me personally, for instance, is my game exits the main menu without actually exiting the main menu.
Like,
so let's say you're in the game, you see your character, or you're in first person mode, doesn't matter which one.
Okay.
You press escape to get into the main menu, and you have to... I noticed this mostly when I was changing settings, so probably a setting is making the bug happen.
Yeah.
But when I would, let's say I would click somewhere or something, and suddenly I don't any longer see my mouse cursor, because I'm actually able to control my character and play the fucking game from the main menu.
Oh, that's weird.
Because the main menu is actually transparent. Only the buttons are like gray.
Yeah.
So, but there's an easy fix for this. Just press escape a few times. That's it.
Okay. Moving on from that, they fixed being able to commit suicide while you're dead.
So metal.
Self-explanatory. Now you can't kill yourself when you're already dead, guys. Stop trying. It won't work.
I swear, those metalheads, unrelentless. This
one should be for you, Syntax. It works perfectly, okay? They disable chat and the mic icon in a single player. There you go, buddy! I hope that pops. There we go. Okay, server password access is thread safe now. I missed one, but I'll go back to that. Also, I have no idea what that means.
Server password X is thread safe now. No idea.
Well, can you guys message below what thread safe means? Again, I could look it up, but I'm probably not going to. I might. Who knows? But if you can help me out, I'd rather know, even if you guys tell me again after learning myself. Moving on from that is a puppet should now spawn proper meat after chopping. Calorie intake of human meat and puppy meat should now be correct, whereas before it wasn't.
Puppy.
Anything to add on to that?
Puppy.
No! Moving on. Potential
Puppy.
memory leak fix for master server. No idea what that means.
Basically, what would happen, and this is a problem I have actually encountered myself today. So what would happen is the more the game renders, so let's say you go from one sector to another, it has to render a CT, it has to render this, it has to render that, never mind. The problem is the game wouldn't properly release from the memory the previous things it rendered and that are no longer necessary to render.
Oh, so they'd still be rendered in the world.
Yeah, and obviously you would start running out of free memory to keep rendering stuff, and this actually impacts the player in such a way that your frames can drastically get lowered. Let's say you pop into a server, you can have 100 or more frames per second constant, but as you play the game, the more you render and stuff like that, your frame rate just keeps going down. I actually saw Eroctic show it in his last video. So he would enter a server, he would have 80 plus frames per second, and after a while it would go down to like 25 frames per second, which is fucking crazy, you know?
Damn.
But yeah, but it has a easy fix, sort of. I mean, it shouldn't be happening in the first place, but the way the player can help himself is just go to the main menu and pop into the server again. Basically, log out,
log back in. And then to add to this before moving on to the next one, it's potential. That doesn't mean they actually fixed it. And as far as I know, it doesn't look like it has been fixed yet. But moving on from that, the refresh button will be grayed out until they receive the server list or timed out. So you'll have to wait until the whole list is actually there before actually being able to spam the refresh again and again.
Yeah.
Moving on from that is the server browsing, filtering, and pinging improvements. That's it. They just improved on that stuff. Self-explanatory. Moving on. Adjusted the AK-47 run animation, so now it should look better, or did look better, or possibly still looks the same as before. I haven't noticed a difference because since this patch that I mentioned, I've been sticking strictly to the AKM and the SVD, plus the shotgun. Now, moving on to that, they added search to the server browser. So now when we actually wanted to find our rented server, we could find it very easily. We just typed in the name or whatever we needed to type in to find it, and it would pop up. Or at least all the ones with similar characters in it.
The next one is one that is quite good for you.
It's actually very tragic for me. But anyways, the airport hangar doors that are opened, any of them, guys, remember this. The sentries can now walk into them. They will go inside, and they will kill you. I live at the airport, so like I said, just makes it a little bit more interesting, dangerous, fun, exciting. But now I know that when somebody's shooting at me at a hangar and I'm at the top of the tower, and the sentry's just kind of staring at the wall because it can't enter, now it can. And for all of you who do that, have fun. I'll be watching. Moving on to the next one is the airport. They added danger volumes. Once you enter the danger volume, sentries will start looking for you. Pretty much think of it like Assassin's Creed. They see you once, they'll look through the area. They're not just going to immediately go back. Skyrim. It wasn't the wind, guys. You were there and they're going to look for you. It was a great joke, by the way. I am patting myself on the back and mentally, so thank you. I'm sorry if I sound like a nerd. Anyways, they also added a bug section on Steam threads, so check that out if you guys want to report any more bugs and be able to actually help them with the development of the game and fix any problems that are there. And Syntax, I'm going to pass it over to you for Gibby 503's patch notes.
So Gibby 503 posted patch notes 0.1.17.8423. Here are the new patch notes, a lot of goodies for everyone. And yes, we are working on the server lag as we speak. We just want to make sure it comes out in the best shape as possible. It's our top priority. And bloody well should we. Okay, let's see here. The game should be compatible with ultra-wide displays now. I actually had a talk with a guy that has a ultra-wide, and you know what would have happened?
What?
Only on the middle of his screen would the game show. It wouldn't support a bigger aspect ratio.
Oh, I adjusted my legs, guys. Sorry for the camera change. Anyways, that's unfortunate.
Right.
I mean,
okay, fix ultra-wide and super ultra-wide scaling on server browser. So basically the same
thing.
The last one. Lowered ambient volume of character creation menu ambient sound.
That's the music and everything playing back. I didn't notice a difference too much, honestly.
A bit maybe, but
it's still loud as hell.
Indeed. Made the chat scroll bar more responsive.
Honestly, the chat isn't something that's amazing in the game in the first place. It's cool to sit there and be like, hey guys, event starting in 5, or go, just got killed, LOL, and people like occasionally comment, but nobody uses it actively enough for it to really be that big of a difference right now. Still nice to have, though.
On our server.
That's true. Okay, we are basing, when we talk about servers or anything, 99.99, continuing on, percent is based on our own server, which occasionally is high in terms of how many people are in. It's generally around the low to medium right now, but we're based on our experience is based on our own server. We don't hop too much to other servers, so just keep that in mind, guys. Other populated servers might actually be talking a lot more than on ours. Ours is basic medium.
And I've actually joined a European server today because my main problem is, since the server itself is US East, it also doesn't have, at the time when I played, too many players. Like, literally no players at all at sometimes. So I actually went to a public official server.
Yeah.
And there's one big problem I have with the chat box.
What?
People can spam it. As much as they bloody want. There was this guy that was advertising another European server, and he just kept spamming, and the actual chat of the window can get up to your crosshair that high. So literally half of your fucking screen is full of his advertised server, which is annoying as fuck.
I'm so glad on our server, everybody who's there keeps it nice and...
Yeah, but there is a good thing about it though as well. The admin of the server, he can see his Steam 64 ID.
Oh, and so they can,
they can
remove this person
properly.
Or ban them.
Yeah, remove. Yeah, they can do all of that, but they can also ask the devs for more stricter measures, should we say.
Like maybe have like a punishment or a timeout feature like Twitch has, where you may give them like 5 minutes before they can reply as a warning.
Or maybe remove the key that they bought.
Oh damn, okay, well that's going a little bit far, but damn, moving on.
But I believe that there are situations for that.
Jesus.
Imagine if somebody's giving out the death threats and shit.
That's true. But anyways, continuing on also, would you like me to buy you some rope? Executioner style? I mean, it's kind of a little bit morbid.
I'm more of an X-Men myself.
Oh, okay.
Made chat close on enter if input box is empty. I actually like this feature because usually...
Are you scratching something? It's so noisy, bro. Yeah. There we go. That's what everybody's probably thinking. No.
Okay, so may chat close event on enter if input box is empty. I actually like this because I'm used to other games as well having their chat box closed if you press enter and there's nothing in it.
Yeah, I agree. I am a fan of that. It's not a huge deal because you can just hit escape and it goes away. But at the same time, it's a lazy feature.
Quality of life feature.
Oh, okay.
Need to be fancy. Okay, next, fixed bug with ammo duplication when stored in objects and using
The
search object over and over.
first one we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah, it's a repeating one. Okay, so since we covered that, let's go with the one that I hated, for fuck's sake. Fixed weapon scope duplication when dragged from one rifle onto the other and relogging.
You know, the worst part about this one for me was when I took a scope. This is an actual example too. I moved my ACOG off my gun, then I put it back on my AKM, took my hunting rifle, and it was fine then, but I took my hunting rifle, put it over onto my AKM, and then my ACOG transformed into the hunting rifle, and then my other gun had the hunting rifle scope as well, and it stayed that way. And then I also still had the ACOG and another one, but you know.
I actually had a bit different bug happening to me. So let's say I have an AKM, and with my AKM, I always use the AGOG. So per se, I found one AKM. It's quite damaged. You know, its health is at half. Afterwards, I found one that's nearly pristine. So I want to swap from my bad one to my good AKM, the rail and the scope. What would happen is I would click right click and press drop on the equipped scope. It would drop to the floor, but it would still be on my
On your gun
weapon, but in the inventory slot. So on the inventory screen, you would see it still as equipped. But if you went out of the inventory,
you couldn't
if
take
you
it
went
out.
into your sights, there wouldn't be a ACOG shown.
It
It
still
would be
zoom
the
in though.
iron sights, but it still would zoom in those 4 times.
Adding
Zoom,
on to
which
that,
was
it
annoying.
also, for me, I don't know about you, it also still showed that it was equipped on the gun, even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It showed in your inventory space
Yep.
that it was equipped. Oh, bloody hell. Let's go to the next one. Tweaked spawn rate. You should encounter more animals now.
Self-explanatory.
Fixed weapon spawn rotation. You won't be aiming in your head anymore.
This one I heard that apparently when some people picked up their gun, the gun was actually aiming back at them instead of forward.
Really?
So I'm assuming that's what this one means. So, you know, now
Bloody
when you
hell.
shoot, I'm assuming it didn't actually kill you, it just shot forward but aimed at you. Either way, it doesn't do that now, apparently, if this is what it is for, but I do know that is fixed, apparently. So, moving on.
Me 1 second. Okay, significantly increased hearing range of gunshot sounds.
So, you just hear the guns farther off in the distance than before.
Yeah, I like that.
Me too.
Change. Okay. Fixed equipment layer for bags. You could have carried more than one bag, now you cannot. I never actually tried doing that, but...
Oh, wait. I think I know what this means. This means, what I actually picked up a hiking bag, and then I took another hiking bag and put it inside that hiking bag. So I think that's what this is talking about, right? Yeah, that's the way it makes sense to me, right? Because
for me, it makes more sense that they meant that you could have equipped two at the same time.
oh, okay, if that's what it is, never happened for me. I never was able to do that.
Personally, I think that you should be able to store another backpack in your own backpack as long as that other backpack is completely empty.
Well, actually, I can add an even better thing to improve to that. I think you should be able to store another backpack into that backpack, even if it's the same type of backpack, even if there's stuff inside there, but only if there's room for that backpack. And then whatever you add into the new backpack, all this, everything in this original backpack adds to the weight of that backpack, because everything has a weight limit and can only carry so much. That means you can't just keep stacking and stacking backpacks of stuff. You have to still have the weight. No, I didn't do that. I did this. I hope. Anyways, it has a weight limit, so you couldn't just theoretically keep just doing random stuff. Although theoretically with this, you could just stack a backpack into another backpack. But what I tried doing, this you can do an escape from Tarkov, is you could stack a backpack and a backpack and a backpack and a backpack and a backpack, and then just keep going until obviously your weight is too much. But you can't do this in this. When you put a backpack in a backpack, you can't open another inventory. So unfortunately, you can't do what I mentioned before earlier, though I think you should. Moving on!
Added an extra inventory slot to woodcutter's shirt. So,
More
yeah,
inventory.
I guessing it. Yeah. Fixed a bug where you could respawn before the timer hits 0. Really? Yeah, exactly. Added, oh, I love this one. Added 8 inventory slots on bulletproof vests. So
Great.
you remember how I already complained that it has pockets on it visually, but there is no like inventory space.
Yep, and then like a day or two after you talked about that, they were like, BAM!
Yeah. But even though I think that the 8 slots we have right now is a bit too much.
I do not, because if you think about it this way, on the vest that they have, there's 4 pockets on it. Enough for 4 clips or 4 mags. And mags and clips take 2x1 slots. So that's really 4 slots of 4 mags or 4 bottles of something to drink, etc. So realistically speaking, this should fit. Although I can understand things like a car battery being able to be put in there because it can fit in the spots, but technically, can you really put a car battery, an actual car battery, in pockets of a vest? Come on.
Yeah, that's my problem.
I'm not complaining though. I love it either way.
If it was 4 separate 2x1 slots,
they should do that.
Say, there's 2 of them blockade, 2 of them blockade, so that
it's
that would be perfect.
what you
but
do.
I think
to take an example is Escape from Tarkov. They do it exactly like that. Different vests have different styles. Certain will have it where it's like block, 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 block. One with like a 2x2, and then a 1x2 or 2x1, 2x1. Yeah, they have different vests that have different amount of spaces, and they block it off so you can't do stuff like that. And I think that they should take from that and bring it into this and implement it, because it would stop things like that happening and keep a little bit of realism in it as well.
Agreed. Okay, next we have increased increased
animal
health.
Increased health. Got it.
Bloody bastard revenge, eh? Increased animal health and varied it more. Spear normally makes animal bleed severely, but it's the most common hunting weapon. Guns kill it instantly.
Pretty much, spear, couple tries. Gun, insta-die. Boom. Moving on.
No. If you
throw a spear a couple times, they'll kill it.
Will it?
Yeah.
Will it?
I'm telling you it did. I tried it myself. Hey. The balloon.
But what they are trying to say here is...
No, it means spear makes them bleed severely, whereas the gun just kills them, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
I was just throwing out a tip.
But I think that it shouldn't be... you shouldn't be able to just spear it to fucking death, because most of the time they're also quite fast enough, and you won't be able to come near them to just melee.
You can throw them.
But yeah, I know. Let's continue. I don't know even myself.
Okay.
Possible fix in underground bases that could cause teleporting to surface collision problem. needs further testing.
Never encountered it
That's the
myself.
problem. Yeah, neither have I. Possible animal despawning bug fix. Oh, bloody hell. Animals used to despawn on random moments after player interaction.
I've never encountered it either.
I've encountered losing animals, but I
Yeah, but
don't
I
really
never
think
actually
they
saw them
despawned.
disappear.
After that, we have added player killed audio event and player lost audio event to the sentry. Really?
I have not noticed that at all, I'll be honest with you. Like, I know it means that, like, if you leave, it's gonna be like lost prisoner or something like that. But I haven't heard anything similar to that. I still hear the classic prisoner, leave the place. And then if you get spotted engaging or something like that. I never hear them say prisoner lost or something like that.
Exactly. Okay, after that we have work in progress master server improvements. Server browser should be more responsive, self-explanatory. Sentry now misses less bullets.
They pretty much upped it.
What they yeah.
Because it missed a little bit too much on the patch that they released a couple previously, and they were like, you know what, it's not as effective as we want it to be. Let's up it more again.
Yeah, most likely. They probably found a middle range somewhere between missing so much and not missing at all.
Yep.
Okay, so now we have tree bark rope is now made from short wooden sticks. Before was long wooden sticks.
They made it easier to get because long wooden sticks were harder to find. Not too much because you could literally just find them, but it still made them easier to get.
I find it funny that I never remember trying to create the tree bark rope. I always go for the fucking improvised one, which is actually harder to get than this one.
Yep. Same.
After that, reduced needed skill level to craft a fire drill. Thank you. So basically, I don't know how it was, but before I didn't have any skill at all in survival. Not even basic, 0. And I was unable to craft a fire drill. I literally have to try to find matches or a lighter or flint and steel to light it up, which was kind of annoying, and I like this now. After that, we have fixed metal scrap making motion noise sound while equipped in hands. I think that would go well with the one where
that
you
was
had
before it.
Yeah, you had it equipped and you would have metal footsteps. Okay, after that, reduced inventory size for barbed wire from 2x2 to 1x1.
I think right now that's good, but I think once you start being able to fortify bases, that it should go back to 2x2.
Agreed. And the next one is yours.
Moving on. This one's from Thiel again, or Thil, whichever one. I'm sorry, it has one L and two I's, so probably Thiel. Oh. As I was saying, this one's from Thiel, or Thil. This patch is 1.17, add a 0 added, okay, because it's not fully 1. So correction, 0.1.17.8491. We're not speaking in code, guys. Thank you for sticking by. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Moving on. They added the first wave of server optimization that should decrease lag. Self-explanatory, pretty much lag should be less. There's still some lag, guys, but it's only 2 weeks. Let's give us credit. They've been doing really good work, as you guys have been listening so far. They've added a lot, fixed a lot so far, and they're going to keep on doing it. Hopefully, that was me knocking on wood just to be careful. Going on that, they fixed the prisoner stats not being saved in single-player mode. So for all of you playing the game alone, this is probably something you're really enjoying. I don't play single-player. Since you're not saying anything or waving your hand, moving on to, they fixed shelter and storage box saving in single player. Another thing for you guys who enjoy playing the game solo. But remember, if you're gonna get the most when you play in multiplayer. Although if you play solo and that's how you prefer it, I mean, have at it. I hope you guys are enjoying the game. Moving on from there, they added a cap to negative fame penalty on kill. No! Anyways. You can't lose more than 20 now.
But that you have to keep in mind is when you get killed by another player, I believe.
Yep.
It doesn't work for suicide. If you keep suiciding from the main menu, or if you kill yourself, it actually goes uh, a lot further than 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that if you suicide, you should lose a bigger penalty than if you get killed. Or maybe a less one. What do you think? Do you think a kill should be more expensive than a suicide?
I think that, yeah, the currently, well, there's a problem right now. So let's say currently for suiciding by, oh god, for
Yeah, I'm
suiciding
feeling it too.
either by the main menu button or just killing yourself by jumping off a ledge or some shit, you get how much? Only minus 25.
Yeah.
I think it should be higher because people will try to abuse it, being able to go in the high
Yep.
negatives to just get the perfect spawn location.
Yeah, I agree. Going off from what you just said, I think suicide's any form of it. Obviously, there could be problems where, like, say you accidentally fall off a cliff or fall off a building, and it counts it as suicide. Unfortunately, that's something we're gonna have to somehow deal with, or they're gonna have to deal with, obviously. But I think suicide should easily be significant in terms of what you lose because it'll counter that. Versus if you get killed, you're playing the game and you got killed. But if you're trying to exploit it, I mean, it's with that word. It's an exploit. Though you should not be banned for doing that, okay? Just saying here. Penalty on fame, but no ban. Suggestion taken. Moving on. Localization update. Added German and Russian. Pretty sure that was added in the previous one, wasn't it?
This is probably an update. Maybe something wasn't
Yeah,
written
it said
properly
update,
or
so
something.
maybe because it said localization update added German and Russian, but wasn't that already added, or maybe they just fixed something that needed, like you said, to be added?
But the thing is, what they wrote in the previous one was RU and GE. They haven't specifically wrote Russian and German, just the
Okay.
shorts. So maybe something else. I don't know.
The projectile actor is always relevant. This fixed the bug where you didn't hear gunshots behind your back. Self-explanatory here. Moving on from that,
Yeah.
enabled character leaning while in melee combat mode and jogging and sprinting. Now, I don't know about you, but you can't do that anymore. For me, at least,
No.
because you could sit there and you could be like, but the second you start moving, you do this. You can't sprint and move like this.
You can't, yeah.
You can walk.
Actually,
I know you can't even walk like that anymore, right? You can only lean when you're not
I think
moving.
you can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they completely removed that.
I think the problem is I was trying it out today, actually, and if I was already running, oh god damn it!
Stop yawning.
If I
You're
was
gonna make me
already,
yawn, and I'm gonna make you yawn. We got this.
if I was already running, then I would not be able to lean on either side. But if I was staying still, if I leaned to one side and then tried to move forwards, I would stay leaned.
Yeah. I think this is something
I
that should
think
go back to the way it was before, honestly, because you can lean and run at the same time. You can do that in real life, and not only that, if you're like you said, if you're at the very least, if you were leaning first and then moving, you should still be able to do it. I think this is something that should be put back to the way it was before. There's really no
I think
there's really no exploit you're gonna get from this. I mean,
but
honestly, if you
I
wanna, if you wanna lean and run at the same time, you can. There you go, Syntax. Take the mic away from me.
but I think it shouldn't be allowed for sprinting.
Well, okay, maybe for like full-on sprinting, but I think a light jog and under that you should be able to.
That's basically what we have. We have walking, running, and sprinting.
Walking,
So for
jogging, and sprinting.
running, for fuck's sake, it's running.
Okay.
But yeah, you should probably be, in my opinion, able to lean for running and Walking? God damn it. But you
Okay.
shouldn't be able to do it when sprinting because you would probably kill yourself by trying to lean forward while in a full
Okay.
fucking sprint, you know?
You wouldn't kill yourself, but the point before continuing on is sprinting while leaning is not very efficient. Let's leave it at that. Moving on, they fixed a bug where prisoners would be able to recover from ragdoll on a vastly different location than he went into ragdoll. So you just looked ridiculously weird popping up after falling on the ground. That's it. It's super self-explanatory. It just means you're gonna look a little bit less silly and you're gonna look a little bit more believable when you get back up. They fixed the glass on Hangar 01. Now awareness should work. Now you should see a player through the glass, not just the gun flying around. Also, sentries can see through it now. By the way, guys, it's confirmed. Got shot in the back by this. Thanks a lot, sentries at Hangar 1.
There you go.
Moving on, they fixed the time dilation exploit for movement speed. A speed hack. I have no idea how this was done, what it even entails, so if any of you do, again, leave it below in the comment, unless syntax you know yourself, but I do not, and I never even used it, so...
I didn't honestly even know that something like that was possible.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys before going on to the next one. I haven't actually purposely looked for exploits in the game. I didn't look for ways to cheat in the game or exploit the system. I played the game, I enjoyed the game, I stumbled across the exploits, and that's it. Don't you dare, I swear to God. Moving on, ignoring syntax, guys. Just cover your hand over his camera right now. He's irrelevant currently. Jesus Christ, that balloon. Anyways, they fixed the rendering distance on the airport. Buildings render further so you won't see people flying around. For instance, if you're far away and you look at a person, they're not going to be walking on midair instead of actually on the ceiling that they're on. I'm looking for a word. It's something you walk on. Catwalk. There you go. Moving past
Basically,
that.
it won't look like they are hovering.
They're not Jesus, guys. Adjusted the temperature calculation while in water. You get colder faster. Before, it didn't really work that much, and trust me, I know. I tried swimming to the island. I made it, but hey. Moving on, they fixed weapon models where they would look distorted on low settings. Also fixed that on a lot of items. Now, I'll point out right now, it's great they fixed that for everybody who's using low settings. Now I'm going to brag a little bit. All mine are epic, guys. That's right. Hate me, but I love it. Moving on, they added a new Sentry voice. Now, this one I actually am glad that we are talking about. I don't like it. I don't. It sounds like, don't get me wrong, if they made it and if they wanted to make it sound like a creepy, distorted, tortured soul, they nailed it. But can you even make out what they're saying 90% of the time? Literally, it sounds like, and I'm just like,
I actually can.
you can, but I'm over exaggerating. The point is like it's not as easy to understand what they're saying now as it was before, and I'm not a fan of the voice. I liked it better before.
Likewise. I actually agree with you on that one. But not because of that, but because of personal preference. Because I like the idea of having them sound civil, you know.
I'm kidding with you.
But they would sound civil
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and then the next second, bam, you're dead.
Yeah, like you said, it's more of a personal preference than just a distorted voice. I guess the whole thing's a personal preference. I like it better before because now, like you said, it's just, I guess it's terrifying maybe, but it's more of like I enjoyed their company even though they were gonna kill me beforehand. Whereas now it's more of an annoyance to me.
There's actually people that got scared shitless when they encountered the new voices
That
without
happened to
knowing.
me. I didn't know about the patch. I was sitting there and I was at the airport, of course, and all of a sudden I was like, I was like, what the? I was like, what the hell was that?
There we go. Exactly.
So moving from that, fixing the cross roar collisions where sentries were getting stuck. Pretty much, they just fixed more places where sentries walked into each other, where they would end up, like, you know, they have areas where they'd travel and they'd eventually meet. Now they actually walk around each other instead of just walking into each other and never leaving.
Is it crossroad or crossroad?
It says roar. So I'm going with
Yeah,
roar,
exactly.
okay? They said it, not me, guys. Did you pop it? Another buck down the drain, guys. Okay, now, sentries now only give out one warning. Even if the player complies and leaves the area, it will engage on sight next time. So, they remember you. They know your face. It's in their data now. They will find you.
I actually like that.
I do too. It's really cool.
Indeed it is.
Okay. Going on from that, they fixed 1 second bug for no skill make shelter. Added times 25, 20, 15, 10 seconds for no skill, basic, medium, advanced. So pretty much it just made it a faster the more proficient you are at your survival skill.
Personally, I think it should be a lot longer.
I do too, because you're building a damn shelter, not a paper mache, which even that still takes time.
Exactly.
So, moving on from that, entering and leaving multiplayer submenu should not freeze for a second anymore. It's going to be seamless.
No idea.
They also enabled admin commands in single player: spawn items, teleport, spawn character, the count, list asset item, and then set fame points. Now, again, for you guys to play single player, I hope you enjoy this. Now, moving on to the next one, going down to CRC Ultima Legend. It's your turn to take over the patches, Syntax.
Indeed. So CRC Ultima Legend is giving us info on the patch notes 0.1.17.8572. So his message is, hello prisoners, just a small pre-weekend patch to make your gaming experience better. Anti-cheat system improved. Self-explanatory, eh?
Yep.
Added an improvised step-proof vest.
That's
Have
a good
you
feature.
tried it out?
I have not tried it out, but nonetheless, it's something that should have been added. That.
I actually found one as loot in a hangar.
Nice.
I was quite surprised though to be able to find it, but oh well.
Ooh.
Okay, after
Pause.
yeah.
I was thinking, just for a tip for everybody, for all of you who are sitting there and taking the regular, let's say, vests that you can equip, I think it'd be better to put the stab proof ones on, because as it stands right now, if somebody shoots you with a gun, more often than not, you're going to die extremely fast. So the vest is not going to save you that much, let's be honest. I'll tell you from personal experience, I'm a PvP player on our server. I fight people all the time at the airport. It does not save you as much as you'd like to think. So if you want to be able to get the greater benefit as a PvP player, wear the stab-proof vest. People won't be able to stab you in melee fights. Easier to take them out. And then you'll also be able to shoot people who are wearing any other type of vest. Just a personal tip.
If you say so. After that, we have edited collision for SM compensator. Sentry could see the player reported bug. Wait, what?
I have no idea. But going off this reported bug, I got shot through a wall by a sentry. The door was shut, they couldn't see through windows and everything, and they still shot through it and then killed me instantly. This could be something to do with that, or maybe not.
I think this would the SM compensator is most likely a in-game asset item. Well, not as much as an item, but as an object. And the sentry was probably able to see the player through that object in game.
Yeah,
now
probably.
They no longer can. Okay, I need to buy myself some RGB fans. I swear to God. Next up we have expanded primitive collision on military hangar doors mesh. Sentry should not be able to shoot you through the collision gap on oval hangar doors anymore.
But they do on the other doors, guys. Be careful.
Indeed, they do. Added search sounds to wooden boxes, self-explanatory. Temporarily disabled bruising when we investigate the source of client performance drop.
Pretty much, they took off the bruising for the characters because it was causing the client of the game to drop a little bit.
Indeed. Added auto-destruct check limit to items.
I'm assuming that just means durability, right?
I think so, but
I have no idea what it means. We'd
no,
have
no,
to
no.
look up these things.
I think that the auto destruct is what we already talked about. If there is an item in the game world itself
Yeah.
that's not a regular spawn or something like that, it basically auto destructs to save up on resources. But
Now, to add to that, check limit since it's talking about maybe like a certain amount of things in an area before it does it. You know.
might be
I know
the
everything
timer,
already.
might be.
I know everything already at the point when you drop it on the ground already has a timer before going down. So maybe like a limit between like instead of it taking it as its basic normal time, now it has a because of so many in the area, it decreases faster. Maybe I don't know. Again,
Might
guys,
be.
explain it below in the YouTube comments. I may find it out. If I don't, at least I'll find out from you guys, and I'll be able to tell Syntax and the rest of our group that we generally occasionally stream with.
Yeah, so the next one is change default item auto destruct time to 10 minutes. So basically, after 10 minutes,
Yeah.
pop goes the weasel. After that, we have added search sounds for various items. Well, always good to have
Self-explanatory.
variety. Yeah. Increase the rifle bash regain control.
So now you can't just
Bash
keep
was fast.
bashing.
Yeah, because the bash was faster than melee attacks. So this is a good one. Okay, this next one is a bit
Ignore
of
that
a
one.
prank, a joke.
Okay.
Added SMDI. Not yet. What the hell is that
I
even?
have no idea,
SMDI.
dude. No idea.
Okay. Increase digestion rate by 30%. Daily intake should now be refreshed every 24 hours. A scaled game time.
This is something I am a fan of because now things digest faster. So you're not gonna sit there and stuff all this food and just be full for a while. Like it's actually gonna digest and it's gonna feel a little bit more believable because the time in the game is not moving at our time in real life. It's moving at a separate time, and this makes it feel like it's moving at the correct time it should have been moving at beforehand. At least in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I also like the fact that they decreased it a little bit because it was a bit too long before. Even now, on some certain items, it feels a bit too long, but
Yeah.
oh well. Okay, so next is wooden stick won't bounce infinite times anymore. Possible fix for frames per second drops.
So
Indeed. Uh, After that, we have the disable glow on shelter and storage box.
finally. God. Anything you want to say before I go on mine?
I don't even think I came across that too much, but that is because, as I said, I had the survival zero
Ooh,
skill
sorry
guy.
about that,
I was
guys.
unable. I was unable to even craft a wooden storage, and I only once or twice, I think, crafted a shelter and actually used it. So,
Well, for me, I crafted 4 shelters, guys. Actually, 7 if you count the 2 I abandoned. All 4 of them were right next to each other, so I could just move between them and check out the 5 storage boxes I crafted so that I could just sit there and loot them all without getting rain on me when it was raining. And moving on from that, just to let you know, when you craft shelters in this game, guys, at least right now, this could be something that should be fixed maybe later on or left. I don't know. I think it should be a timer delayed if somebody's not near it who owns it after a certain period of time. And even that can be a little bit drastic. Maybe making it to where if you make a shelter in the game right now, you can make an infinite amount of shelters as far as I know. Because I have 7 and they're all in the world, in different areas of the world. But I can only spawn at 1. Now, what I think that they should do is when you make a shelter, take away the other shelter so that it doesn't take up resources or make performance or lag issues or any type of issues it can cause for staying in the world when it's not being used. And to add to that, since we are at the end of this list pretty much and we have very few things to go over, I am going to add that I feel that for you guys, developers, Wonder, Iggy, etc., something to take into mind as a suggestion for these shelters to be able to actually place them where you want them, meaning us, the players, or
Funny.
you as players. So you don't have to actually just sit there and craft and then just let it spawn wherever the hell it wants to spawn. You actually get to, say, take for Arc example, you start crafting it, crafts, and then all of a sudden it shows like a little silhouette of where it is, and you can spin it in a circle and then like walk around and choose where you want to put it. Because right now, I'll tell you, I tried putting it at the top of the tower and it spawned in the middle of the damn stairs. And the only way up is those stairs. Luckily, I found a way to parkour myself up there and down. And through some time with a firefight of other players, they eventually found it, but it still made an obstacle. And if I had a gun, I would have won. But the point is I feel like it'd make it a lot better and a lot more enjoyable of placing your shelter where you want it if that added that feature.
Then again, you probably won't be able to craft it at a tower later on.
You can! Don't you lie to me! When I can, it will be there! Anyways.
Our good little Zeitz won't allow it. I promise you that.
Moving on!
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
No. It's the end. You can say what you want.
Fixed a server crash when inviting a player to a team after they force logged out. I am unaware of this happening, so under the radar again. And server browser refresh is stable now.
Stoppable now.
Stoppable now.
But don't worry. And to add to that, guys, after all of these patches, and all the way up to this time, last Friday, which, just to let you know, was the same time the last update for the game came out right now, the game wiped. Now, you're all aware of this, obviously, because you're playing the game, and it's actually next Friday from that last Friday. So you're all aware. But still, for people who are like me, and hoarded, and built 4 shelters, taking away the other 3, and then 5 storage boxes, and stored them with bullets, gear, materials, scrap, and whatever you can think of for when you can craft these things, when the crafting improves. Yeah, I lost all of it. All of it! And not only that, I lost first place as the most famous person. But as Syntax rightfully decides to say and be the one to defend them, it is early access, so it's completely understandable. And honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter. It's just me griping because, you know, the little boy gamer in me is like, why? But I understand. I'm completely okay with it. It's not hard to get any of the stuff I had. The game is, as we said, filling up, but still empty at its current point. And now, to bring up a fact, because it is at the end of it, we can kind of talk about little things before ending it, is a lot of people we have noticed have been complaining about the game and actually stopping playing the game, dropping the game, trash talking the game, etc. You know who you are. Don't care if you dislike my video, etc. for it. I'm not a hardcore fan. I just need to let you know one thing and ask you one thing, and that's, did you know this game was early access? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if it's early access, don't expect a full game. You don't buy a game in early access to get a full game.
I think that people actually know it's early access, but they don't understand what fucking early access means.
Yeah, I mean, see, it's like you said, they see early access, but then they see future developments, what the game's gonna be, and then they expect all of that at the beginning. And honestly, like, whether you expect it all at the beginning, whether you just didn't know, which if you didn't know, what are you doing? And then if you did know and you're just trashing the game because you don't like it, I mean, these are all your opinions, guys, but at the same time, the developers are working on this game and adding more and more. Literally, after 1 week of the game being out, there's a ton more items into this game. A few craftable stuff, a bunch of fixes. The performance is a hell of a lot better now than it was day 1. And that's not an exaggeration. It was bad day 1. It's better now. They're working on it. It's going to get more items added to it, more features added to it, but you need to understand this is early access. And to put it into more of a perspective so that people who still go into the game expecting it to be a full game, it's not. It's not a full game. It's nowhere near a full game. It's not even close to a full game. They will say it themselves. We are saying it. If you go into the game, look at somebody play the game. Look at me play the game. Watch my videos. Watch Syntax's videos. Watch our groups. That's what the game is right now. There's nothing more to the game than what we play right now. We bought the game in early access because we want the game now, we want to support it, and we want to see it evolve over time. And it's something I think all of you guys should do as well. Syntax.
Did we really buy the game in early access?
Okay, fine. We did not buy the game. Technically, we got it for free. We were given a key. Super amazing, guys. Yes, I know. Maybe because we didn't buy it, some people, and you guys know who I'm talking to because you're looking at me right now and you're writing a hateful comment to me right now saying, you didn't buy it, so you didn't waste money. But you know what? Even I would have bought it either way. It's not a waste of money. It's a great game, and it will become a great game. Hopefully,
That's why we bought. But that's why we bought the supporter pack.
Yep. $10, guys, for all of you who are wondering. Basically, what it does is it adds your BCU is now blue. For all of you who care about that. A tattoo on your arm and face that's strictly limited to people who buy this. Also, you get a t-shirt in game. When you take off the orange one, it's the under one. It says Scum, it's black. You also get some printable t-shirts, and then there'll be more stuff along the way. What they say, whatever it is, I have no idea. But I wanted to support a game that I thought was amazing, and I'm looking forward to see how this game turns out. Like I said, I knocked on wood because I don't want this to be another DayZ. DayZ haters and DayZ fans, please don't hate me. DayZ was a good game at one point and just dropped off. Final opinion. I'll say it plenty of times, and I'm sorry if you disagree with it. Syntax, do you want to talk about anything else moving on to this, or you kind of good for now?
Yes, I do want to mention it's going on about what you said about people hating about the game, not knowing either that it is early access or not even knowing what early access is.
Yep. Thank you for stopping by.
They just keep hating on the game for whatever fucking reason because they think it's not finished enough. For fuck's sake, it's not been 2 full weeks since the game is out.
Well, actually, it's close to 2 weeks now.
It's close, but it's not yet. Yeah. And actually, it made a calculation, and I did not take into account the streamer early access. So,
okay.
Actually, I will take it into account. So that would be the 27th for 13 days. So the game, let's say, has been available for 13 days.
In total, that means if you had early access and you were there before it.
Yeah, but we have to take into account the early access because it was also used as performance monitoring or whatnot. And there are currently 7 patches released so far. So that's
it's great.
Yeah, that's 1.8 a patch every nearly second day. And even less than 2 days, for fuck's sake.
Moving on from that, adding on, pretty much, with that, I just gotta say, if they keep following up with the rate that they're at with patches, updates, etc., please no more wipes, but it's probably gonna happen. Only wipe on the very big ones, guys, because I mean at this stage we're not really gonna lose anything. So I will be the person who complains and the person who accepts it. The complaint will be, no, I don't want to lose it, but at the same time, wipe as many times as you guys need. I'm looking forward to this, guys. I really want to see the game develop. I really want to see you guys implement more and more features. Hopefully, we get the fortification in the first year, because I really want to take over that airport. I got people waiting to do it with me.
No.
It's happening.
Fortification and boats. And the lake house is mine, bitch.
Oh, you can have it. You can have it. Trust me. I swam to the monastery. Yeah, there we go. It was useless there. Don't go there. It was pointless. But anyways.
I don't care. It's cool.
It's tiny, dude.
Trendy.
It's tiny.
I don't care.
Okay.
Even better. I don't need something large and huge.
For all of you who want the monastery and don't want to swim to the little island that's completely pointless other than syntax, you can find it in another town. What town that is, I completely forget. Don't know the name of it yet, but it is in a town on land, and you don't need to actually swim across it right now.
It's in the Charlie 2 sector.
Okay. Before adding that, just one final thing to everybody who's probably hating me and writing mean comments on my YouTube right now as I say this, or even after that. If you even made it this far to complain about us talking about that. If you don't like the game, what it's at, that's your own personal opinion. Sadly, you don't like the game. I'm not going to tell you to love the game. But at the same time, if you did buy into the game because of the early access and you're disappointed because of whatever reason and it's not a full game, just take a lesson learned from this. Next time when you go to buy a game, if it's not refunded correctly to you, if you can get it refunded at the time, look into the game if you really want to go into the early access. You're taking up a game that isn't full on release, like I've mentioned before, and it is pretty much supporting this game for a cheaper price than what you're going to pay for when it comes out. It's your choice to do this or not. You weren't screwed over. You weren't told or forced to buy this game. They gave you the option to do this. You knowingly paid that money. So if you're going to have a problem with that, stop buying early access. Wait till the game's fully released. That's all I got to say. After that, I was going to pass it over to you and ask if there was anything you wanted to talk about or discuss, kind of leaving up before wrapping it. I know I'm pretty much spent, don't really have too much to discuss after the amount of topics we went over for the patches, but I'm free to talk about other things if you want. I don't know how long we've been streaming.
Quickly. 2.5 hours.
Okay, we're good still.
One topic though.
Okay.
What is the most the feature that you are looking forward the most?
Come on, man. You asking me that? I think I already mentioned it. Fortification! The airport's
Besides
mine!
that, maybe.
Okay, fine. Aside from the obvious, does it have to be something that I know is coming out, or can it be something that I want to come out?
Doesn't have to be anything that's been said.
If it's something that can come out and you guys developers can work on this, eventually, doesn't matter how long, I think it would be awesome that the longer your character is alive, the more your hair grows from shaved. I think it would be cool, okay? And then eventually being able to style it with the rubber bands, you know? Ponytail it, bro. You said it can be something that I wanted to make up. You didn't say it had to be something that was out there. It's just a feature for later in the future, okay?
But it's so insignificant, yet
You're insignificant! I'm kidding.
But it's so resource intensive that it's not even funny. Imagine the server having to save every single character.
Hey, Ark Survival Evolved did it. And it has 100 people to each server. Yeah.
Well,
and the maps can be huge. So I'll actually have to find it out later when we're off stream to see if we can actually compare maps and stuff. But I'm just saying, if it's a feature that can be added and it works and doesn't destroy the game, I mean, you said I can come up with something I'd be looking forward to. You didn't tell me it had to be something planned. But if it is something planned, just to go along with it, and we know that's coming out later on, vehicles.
Hell yeah.
Because I want to explore the map. I want to travel around the map. But I want to be, my main operation is the airport. I go to B2, B3, B4, and occasionally, and then A2. Those are the main areas, but I'm in B2 90% of my time. However, you add vehicles, and I will travel on the map a lot more, because it doesn't take 2 hours. And that's not me complaining fully about the map size, because I love the map size. But at the same time, I do want to be able to get around it faster if I'm going to make that distance across the map for a town, and I'm sorry if this offends people, but for a town that looks almost the same as any other town in the game. And adding on to this, I have to bring up this for all you people who love DayZ and all the people who are talking about the differences between DayZ and this game. One thing I have noticed is DayZ has better towns, bigger towns. Not better design or better building design, or the buildings aren't really done better because they're more flat and really thin. But they have better towns, bigger towns, and a lot more towns with a variety of places. So for all of you DayZ fans and for all of you Scum fans, keep this in mind. And for you developers, maybe creating a bigger major city when you hopefully expand the map, because I don't know about anyone else or you, Syntax, but I like having the open world, yes. But I also like having a big city. I don't care if it takes from the damn resources and it takes time to fully implement it and to add it in, I am okay with waiting until it's perfected. I am okay with baby steps. I want variety to the world. I don't want to go to copy paste towns. And unfortunately, this is one of the biggest flaws I see in Scum right now. Not that I don't like the style, like I said, but all the towns, they're pretty much the same. Like, obviously, they're placed differently, but if you ask anyone else, I'm sure you guys can agree with me. As much as we love Scum,
Me
they all
gusta
look the
and
same.
Ricky H. Thank you and welcome. But actually, on that topic, you have to keep in mind that DayZ is in creation for more than 5 years now,
Yeah, yeah. But
and
I'm
as
just
far as
future
we
plan.
yeah, and as far as we have pretty much heard, I don't know who actually said it. Was it the devs or who the hell?
And it's not
But
confirmed that I know of. I think Chaotic told us about it, and we kind of went off based off his opinion from what he apparently
yeah,
read or heard.
yeah, but apparently even Erotic is claiming it.
Claiming
So
what though?
that current map is only 1/4.
Yeah,
It's only one
which
corner of the.
yeah, I mean, if that's true, which that's great. But going on from that, if it's 1/4 of the map, great. I would love a bigger map. But at the same time, if it's literally the same type of map, let's say, like ratio with towns and openness with the other 3/4, I don't even care. Like, and I know that may
I
sound
don't.
bad and it may sound insulting to certain people, and I don't mean that in any way, guys. But if it's just 3/4 bigger after like everything's added, and it's the same style where there's very few towns and openness, I don't care for that. I'd rather have the small map and improve on that small map because it's not that small, but you
Uh,
get my point. Improve on the map we have now, then increase it to a bigger one that's pretty much empty.
but you also have to keep in mind that they have mentioned there will be snowy regions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So they mentioned that there will be mountains up north.
Well, yeah, but let's
I
put
don't
it.
believe
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that the current mountains, if you can call them really mountains, are those mountains. So the map will definitely expand, and it will encompass different biozones. And I think with that also they will humor your desire. And I would also like to see a huge ass city, like with
Even if it's just
skyscrapers
one.
or something. Yeah, but I would also like to see bigger buildings, skyscrapers, not the fully large ones, but
Fully large
apartment blocks. I
ones.
think it is.
Yeah.
I think that's a
No,
bit
I
too
know what you
much
mean.
for an island, but more of apartment blocks, higher ones, or something like that. And yeah,
I just want to point out here, like, obviously, just to point out for everybody, Syntax included, everybody likes to point this out whenever I talk about the future. I think it's self explanatory, but like I mentioned, sometimes I need help pointing out that this is not self explanatory. In the future, there are games like Miscreated that have a big town, and DayZ that have a big town. Miscreated does it better though, but still, they have big towns. It's possible. They can do it. I'm not saying right now to do it at all, guys. I'm not saying it right now. I'm happy with how the game is right now. Obviously, I love the game as it is right now. But I am a very let's say I'm a pessimist at other things, but when it comes to games, I want them to succeed. I want them to achieve. I want them to go further than what it's at now. I want them to keep on adding. Maybe selfish of me, who cares? That's what I want, and hopefully it's approved and taken care of. Because like I said, whether there's different biomes, like say they split it up and the next 3/4, one's a snow area, one's a desert area, etc. I don't want that. I do not want that. I would rather the weather change in the whole area or in certain areas be colder, like at the top of the mountains, like you were talking about. But I don't want like each biome to be like Minecraft, where each one is like drastically different, because I don't like that. Like I would like it if it kind of faded into a new one, and it still felt like the same island, just a different area. And then like in this area, there was a big city. In this place, like so let's say, uh, the second part of the map out of the other three was all city, was all close in, and then the third part was like super deserty and barely anything, and etc. Like that would be fine. I want them to feel like this is a breathing area, and I want to be able to travel around these areas. and feel like the world is actually expanding, not feel like I'm traveling through a giant open world with, like I said, copy pasted all over it. Although you can copy paste the giant cities. I'm a fan of that. Do that. Do that all you want.
No.
Yes.
Each one should feel unique.
Yes, they
Even
should.
though, I mean, they kind of
Oh.
still do feel a bit unique, but I mean, take a look at the port towns, for instance, and try to compare a port town to a inland town. There's a huge fucking difference.
I guess.
How do you say it? Higher, lower
Elevation?
elevation. Yeah, elevation also makes a huge difference. So if a town is up a hill or something, it also makes it look different.
I think
The only problem is that most of the houses are of the similar architecture.
I'll have to
Similar
add to
looks.
that not only just the houses, and again, let me put this out because I know every time I say something bad, somebody's gonna pretty much tell me I'm crapping on the game, but I'm not. I'm just putting out where things are due. I like being factual. In my opinion, at the very least, the world doesn't feel copy pasted yet. But out of every town I visited, every place I visited, like the big towns, the small towns, the medium towns, etc., they're all generically the same. And yes, there is differences. There is some differences. But I've traveled around a lot, like I said, and every place has the same type of building, the same type of thing. So if you see that, like, a town will have a polizia, the other town you go to will have a polizia, and they'll all be in, like, they may be in different locations in those towns. Like I said, each building may be in different locations, but they're still similar to the point where if you go to one and you go to the other, it feels the same. It may feel like a different area because of the terrain, like you said, with elevation, because of being near the water, but
the
it's
main
generally the
thing,
same. One sec, I
the
should get a
layout.
reply. I mean, more types of buildings were confirmed to be coming. Again, that's something that's great for the future, and I'm looking forward to that. Also, they use the same pre-made buildings as of right now, but they will be updated to new buildings and other more variety. And Reveri, if that's true, I'm a complete fan of that. I love that. If this is what they're using as a base game and they're going to build onto that and change and make additions, etc., 100% support it. Great idea. If they're going to sit there and they add basic stuff just so that they mark where they want things to be and then build from there, that's great. I think that's even better than having an empty space and then adding it into the world later on. I think that perfectly could fit into the lore because, like, season 2, everything's different. We've added changes, etc. Things like that. I think it would fit really well. And I think that suggestion, like you said, or a fact from what they said, is something that's actually really good. I support it. I like that. As you were saying, Syntax.
As I was saying, currently you can see differences in the layouts of the towns, in the elevation, as I said, and the actual setting of the town, if it's a port town, if it's a town in the middle of the woods, and stuff like that. But as far as I've understood, your basic problem is literally the same as DayZ. It's also copy paste
Yep.
buildings that are the
Although,
same.
with DayZ, I have to point out the places are bigger. Every town, there's some towns that are the same size as in Scum, but DayZ, not only is the map bigger, but the towns are bigger. There's obviously super small ones, but the towns, the big towns, and the biggest towns are bigger. Obviously, though, like you said, and like everybody else knows, DayZ's been in development for 5 years. Can we just say it's not in development anymore, guys? I mean, sure, it just released on Xbox, but come on, let's be real. I know you guys hate me for saying it, but it's had 5 years.
But it's slow motion, for
Yeah.
fuck's sake.
So, I mean, going off that, DayZ has been in development for 5 years, and I think that, just like I said plenty of times before, and Syntax, you have agreed with me, and everybody else has, the game right now, Scum, is still hell of a lot more fun than DayZ. Hell of a lot more, in my opinion, not motivational, forward thinking, inspirational. I'm thinking of a word. I'm trying to find it. Come Come on, help me out here, Syntax. Don't let me hang here. Oh, you're letting me hang here. Great. Wow, that is a loud balloon, bro.
Didn't I fucking mute myself?
Nope. But going off from that, pretty much what I'm getting at is what Scum is right now. It's already a lot more entertaining in my eyes than DayZ is right now. And then not only that, 5 years from now, assuming that the developers don't pull a DayZ or whatever game you want to compare it to that, in my eyes, guys, let's be honest, failed. Hate me all you want. Hey, Syntax, did you see that? It was the dislike that I got for saying that. Just saying. Okay, anyways. It failed. I hope that that doesn't happen to Scum. If it gets to 5 years and they're like, you know what, that's all we could have done. We're ending the game here because we worked as hard as we could. Great. But I'm asking you guys as developers and for everybody who's fans, etc., please work on this as long as you can. And if you're going to stop developing, tell us. Because then we'll know, okay, this is what we're getting with the game. Don't make false promises, and you guys will do great. The speed you guys are updating, patches, fixes, bug fixes, anti-cheating, etc., and then implementing new items, all of this is great. Please keep this pace. I am loving it, and a year from now, I can't even see where this game is going to be a year from now because of how fast you guys are patching things, how well this is going to work. Like I said, a year from now, like Syntax to you, a year from now, can you picture if they work like this for a year, what this game is going to be like?
No, because my main problem, as I already mentioned to you, I believe, is I don't think they can be as fast as they did it right now. I mean, this was the launch hype. They had to be fast. Otherwise, a lot of people would simply refund the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the lads are a bit too small of a group to be able to put out. As we saw, there was one single patch per 2 days, for fuck's sake. I doubt they're going to be able to keep that up. Maybe do the weekly update as they plan, but even that is a bit of a stretch for me.
Okay, first reply, then I'll reply to you. But reply, Rivier. I mean, the map is fairly large. If you teleport in single player, there's a bunch of random zeros next to this that's too far away for me to read. But it's big. Units up, you can see past the walls and how large the map might one day be. And all fair game here, if the map becomes huge, I'm a fan of that. But at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, Rivier, is if the map becomes ridiculously huge, but there isn't a ridiculous amount of substance, meaning towns and villages. Like if it's pretty much if they take the towns and stuff that they have for this map that's currently out and just have the same amount of towns for each edition they add on, I'm not going to be a fan of that. I personally don't like that, but that's only my personal preference. I want them to add a lot more to the world and make it feel different. I don't want it to feel the same all the way throughout the whole map. Again, just a personal preference. And adding on to that, you're going to have to remind me what you were just saying. Because of that, it took brain power. You were talking about...
I was saying that I don't think the lads can keep up with the one patch every 2 days. Because not only is there too few of them to actually do that, but if you think about what they have to do, especially what they already promised, that's a lot of fucking work. And the biggest problem is I feel that they will simply burn themselves out too much.
I will first I gotta reply, then I'll answer that and continue on. First, Reverie says, I believe that cities were confirmed as well, by the way. If that's true, amazing. I'm looking forward to that. Moving on, though, before I forget again, I think they should do monthly updates. Even if, right now, you have to wipe. I don't like wipes at all. I hate them, but if you have to, do a monthly one. Because they may not be able to do the speed and release it like every 2 days, like you said, or every day to 2. I think what they should do is just work on it for an entire month, get as much as they can in that month, and release it in a month. Ba-boom! And then work on that. But the thing is doing that, now that I mention it, is that they'd have a lot to fix if those things caused problems. So honestly, going on that, I think that they should move it either at the current pace that they have or weekly. But at this point, I don't think it should be weekly, and I think that you guys you guys, the developers, and for everybody else here, should keep it to how it is. I don't want you guys to burn out. make sure you guys eat, drink, etc. I love the game. I want you guys to keep trading it. Don't die before it's finished. I will be upset. Greedy as I know it, I will be upset. Even if you burn out, I'm going to be greedy right now and say, work as hard as you can. Make this game super successful. This has a chance of being the best game in this specific setting in its genre. It won't be Ark because Ark's dinosaurs, but it will be every other game currently out in this specific setting if you work your hardest for it. Ark is just dinosaurs and survival. Same thing, not as in-depth of metabolism, basic, but don't even go into it. It can't beat something that it's not compared to.
Who gives a shit that it's dinosaurs? We will have bears. We will have boars. We will
Can
have.
you ride the bear?
Horses.
Hopefully in the future. But anyway, no, you cannot. Do not confirm that.
We'll be able to, comrade.
But anyways, going off from that, I do got to reply. If you update too often, no one could make any progress in the game before a wipe. So agreed. I do agree with that. If you guys can somehow find a way to keep updating the game without wiping, we would all prefer that. Although, if a wipe is necessary, meaning you cannot avoid it, we understand as well. At least I do. I know Syntax, you do. But like we said, if you can't, I know 90% of people not use Syntax, but 90% of people who are greedy like me, who hate wipes with a burning passion, don't want it to happen.
But you have to keep in mind, it's early access for fuck's sake. Nobody likes a wipe. But
Be greedy.
It does.
I know.
No.
See, that's the thing. That's greedy, Seth. Understanding, Seth. I can be understanding, but I can also be greedy. And the thing is, with the game that they have, that we all know about, like you said, they can burn themselves out with as much as they promise. But at the same time, I disagree. Because with the amount of things that they promised, if they can achieve this, not only will they make a great game, they'll make a good name for themselves, etc. Okay, the point is, there's a lot of benefits. I don't want to list them one by one. There's more benefits that I can list on my hand. Point is if they do this, they'll succeed in something that other games have failed in. And I think that if they're going to prompt No Man's Sky... anyways, it's fixed now. But the point is, if they can do this, they're going to keep their word. And that's trust that anyone who buys their games is going to keep. I don't want a company saying that they'll be able to do something if they're not going to do it. If they say, fine, it's early access, it will be at least a year, and maybe more depending on what we add, fine. I don't care how long this game is in early access. If it takes 5 years in early access, but you guys are updating it constantly, not like DayZ, but constantly, I will stick with you guys. I will play it, and I will keep playing. But if you guys sit there and you drop the game, in my opinion, and you guys don't work on it and leave it hanging, that's when you'll lose me.
But also have to keep in mind they have an additional piece of motivation, should I say. Their producer is Crow Team, for fuck's sake. It's our biggest creation studio and everything, and I personally don't believe that Crow Team is even gonna allow the whole game to fail.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stake. A lot at stake there.
There's
because
a lot
they
of
are
stake?
The creators of... Yeah. They are the creators of the Serious Sam franchise, the series, also the Talos Principle, which both were quite successful games. And I think they would allow Scum to go down.
How long is our stream at, by the way? Cutting you for a second.
2 hours and 53 minutes.
Okay,
and
great.
22 seconds.
I can't go past 3.5 hours before restarting the stream. So if we end it there or continue, just let me know so I can end this and then continue again. It won't let me It won't let me edit if we don't have it set up correctly. But you know, okay. To put it into simple, if I shove something longer than 4 hours into my DaVinci Resolve, it crashes every time. So I can't edit it.
GG, and by the way, I don't know how long you've been streaming because you had your starting soon screen up.
It's fine. I started again. Yeah, so we're good. So same as you. Or if not a little bit longer.
actually thought we would end quite a time ago, but we're still rambling on about
I
early
mean, I
access
don't
and shit.
mind. If you want to end, then we can end. But if you
Oh,
want to keep talking, I'm fine with that. Yeah, let me adjust to. Ugh. Like I said, at the end of this, it's basically just our discussion. But I did want to bring up something we could talk about a little bit more if you did have time. But it's up to you.
what exactly?
I want to talk about what you disliked about the game. Because we're talking about so many things that we like about the game and future plans. Also, I have a reply that I'll have to say after this. But because we're talking about it, I don't want to seem like we're being biased. I don't want people to think that we're just constantly talking the game up, constantly making it out to be a better game than it really is. I want us to be factual with it and to be able to talk about what we don't like, what's bad about the game as well, so people know we're being real with what we're thinking about the game, with how we're feeling about it. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, and yes, they have already been quite transparent with us.
Also, before we continue on to that, though, Reverie says, I think they need to be. Oh, yeah, you got that message, didn't you? Okay,
Yeah.
Reverie, damn it, you messaged both of us! Okay, so,
Yeah,
anyways.
I don't know about you, but I'm actually watching your channel, so
Oh,
yeah.
okay. uh,
Uh,
yeah, I've been watching yours as well.
uh-huh. Yeah, right.
Normally, I
Anyhow,
only watch the multi-stream next to it. But anyways, going on to that, what are some things you dislike about the game? Even though it's an early access, Syntax, I swear to God, I will slap you.
you cut off.
Did you get the point, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
The most hated thing for me about the game currently is the broken voice chat.
The broken washer?
So not only do you say things wrong, you hear them wrong.
Shut
Fucking
up!
awesome. The broken voice chat.
Oh, okay. That's only you. I'm convinced it's only you.
But why?
I don't
I don't know
know.
if it maybe I don't know if it maybe has something to do with the voice meter, but it shouldn't.
They were like, you see this guy, Syntax Toxie? Got him. And then I heard about it, and I was like,
Yeah, Reverie, but my problem is even though my settings are all good, my output input devices are all set up in Steam, on my PC, on OBS, on Discord, it works everywhere, but it doesn't work in Scum.
yeah, he literally will sit there yelling at the thing for 5 hours, and it doesn't. I'm kidding. It's not 5 hours, but he'll get so mad. He'll get upset about it. The point is, works for everybody but him.
And
really?
apparently, I'm not the only person.
Oh, no.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. That is hard to believe.
People had the same problem, and it was suggested to check your Steam settings, which I did and didn't help. And also, it was suggested that some people actually have to disable the push to talk in the options. You know, you have the on and off.
What if you try uninstalling the game and installing it again?
I would lose a lot of time.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you're really that desperate, and God knows you are, you can try it.
I might. I don't know if I'm gonna lose any settings though.
No, you won't
Anything
lose any.
Important.
Even if you do, I mean, there's barely any controls in the game that you really need to change. Going off from that, something that I dislike about the game, it's actually hard because I've been focusing on like everything that I liked. I haven't actually sat down and thought about the things that I disliked about it, you know? Basically, it's all just about facts about the game, what's changed, etc. But I guess one of the things I dislike about the game right now is the fact that the events are boring. They're not. There's no incentive to play it, so no one really plays it. And even in the big servers I go in, it's not really. It's not that amazing. Might try. Could. It's far away. It's okay. You know what? No, never mind. I haven't cleaned my room. I'm not gonna do that. It's 7 feet away, though. Okay, the TV's 7 feet away, and the chat box is this tiny.
I am an European. Do you really think I know what 7 feet is?
What's yours? What do you measure in? I'm sorry, I don't know this. I'm horrible. Okay.
Meters.
Meters? Okay, it's 2.5 meters away. About.
That's a lot for you.
It's a lot when the chat
Glasses, bro.
screen is like this.
Glasses, bro.
Wait, one sec. I gotta mentally do this. I'm measuring a meter in my head right now. Ready? Sorry, it's 3.5. My bad. 3.5 meters. But even with then, look at the screen and take. Okay, you see your window? It's like this, and then the writing is like this. I can read it, but like the different colors from Twitch throw me off, bro.
If you have enough money to pre-order Fallout 76.
Oh, actually, I already own it.
I finished. If you have enough money to pre-order Fallout 76, you have enough money to buy a cheap-ass fucking second monitor.
I didn't buy Fallout 76. It was given to me.
I want that friend of yours.
Actually, he's mine. Yeah. Don't worry. He
actually want to play that game, but
2.1 meters. I was right and closer the first time. Riveri, don't look up the exact thing. Okay, it's more than 7 feet apparently. God damn it. That looks stupid.
There we go.
Thanks a lot. I should have just not read the comment.
You should be able to quite easily find a second display.
Oh, no, I have a second monitor. It's my TV, though, for now. And right now, funds are...
It's here as well, but it's quite...
They're tighter than that! They go to one place, my bro. And you know where that is? Oh, look! Money! Oh, here. Rent. Adult. My life. There we go. That explains where it all went.
I have a small child in the house.
I am a small child at heart.
Expensive. There you go. Actually, my wife would say the same for me, so...
Okay.
OnePlus.
Okay.
But yeah, I know how expenses are, but...
Yeah.
Literally, I'm not speaking about a completely new one.
No, I know an old one. I plan on doing that.
Cheap-ass one.
I actually won't have to worry about it in 3 months. I will be completely settled with what I need set up with computer-wise. I'm not going to be upgrading. It's just my whole setup is going to change. I'm actually going to be sitting in an actual desk on my bed. My second monitor is going to be right next to me, etc. As you saw, guys, I took down the painting. See? You guys can't see all the crookedness? I hope that helped. You didn't even notice that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, dude. Everybody was like, they're so crooked all the time. So I was like, God, fine.
But I like them.
No, not enough. Have you noticed, though, if I turn my wall green and blend in and look like we're in the same room? I just need a lighter green. There you go.
You can also use it for a green screen there.
Yeah, I need to get one of them as well. What?
Green paper.
Oh, sweet. I gotta get some.
Literally green fucking paper. One of these big ass. So there are two ones. Lower one, upper one. Left one. Basically 4 of them in total, right?
Okay.
And
I can see the lines,
yeah. And a single one costs me less than $1.
Nice. I'll be investing in that in the future. But
and as you can see on my stream, it works great as a green screen.
It does actually. Adding on to that, though, before we do get too off topic, I believe the topic of what we've gone over, and I don't think we're going to find too much to dislike. I think if we're going to do a correct what we dislike about the game, we're going to need to think on that. Because there isn't much right now, and there may be more, but right now I can't just take it off the top of my head. So for now, I suggest ending the stream, calling it a good day. I think that'd be good. You agree? Yeah.
I agree with what Riviere says you could also use it as a green screen. So basically, what
Yeah,
told you.
yeah, you said that. I assumed you were reading what he commented, so that's why I
Ah,
said yeah. Oh, okay, because as soon as you said that, I looked up and he commented that, and I was like, oh, okay, he's just reading what Riveri said. Sorry, I thought that was
great.
actually what he was doing.
Well, great minds think alike.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
Rivere.
But as we said, this is the end of it. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, I hope you enjoyed the whole entire video. Again, for everybody else, please do not hate me. By the way, Riveri laughed at you and said no way. But anyways, just saying, thank you guys for stopping by. I hope
so
you
mean.
enjoyed this. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel where I release daily videos. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you're amazing and you love me on Twitch because I'm amazing and we have a lot of fun. And then also,
I told you.
damn it, don't forget to follow me as well if you don't want to spend that little extra cash to subscribe and get the bonus memes and everything else I have set up. More on that later if you check the bottom of my Twitch. Also, don't forget to follow my friend and comrade and partner, Syntax Toxie. He's on Twitch and he streams just as much as me on Twitch specifically, and you'll see him every single day most likely unless he has something to come up. We're both extremely dedicated to not only Twitch but specifically this game. There will be games coming out that hopefully, I'm asking you this as well, that we can actually collab on again in the future, depending on what game it is, as well as still Scum, because I know I will still do the weekly about what's changed, and I will be playing the game.
Well, you actually have to think for the future because sooner or later, Scum is gonna die off. It's simply how games are.
And then it'll rise again, hopefully, and then die off again, etc.
Let's hope so.
But as far as I go, that's about as much as I can say. Glad you and Reveri are having a great bonding moment. Thanks for telling me that I'm amazing, Reveri. I'm glad you could say that. I know you didn't really say it, but I'm going to pretend like you did to feel a little bit better about myself. I'll see you guys in the next stream I do, the next video I release. Also, just a side note for everybody else on my YouTube channel. Right now, I'm currently in the decision of deciding what game I want to make as a series leading up to Fallout 76, because when that comes out, that will be my side series. Right now, I have a couple amount of games. I'm probably going to make some type of poll or something, or maybe in the next video list off a couple games that I am interested in doing. And then if you guys answer me, that's the game I will do until Fallout 76 comes. So, without further ado, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Scum will always be there. Don't even joke about that. But I'll see you guys in my next stream/video. Cheerio.
Yeah, likewise. Enjoy, folks.